fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back for week number 4 of the ECAC Top 8 Plays of the Week. Now, at this point, you're probably realizing two things. One, that's right, I'm going to be with you all season long as we jump through the best moments of every week. And number 2, wow, Septilence really only wears one thing when he's not on the clock. And I can't even defend myself, it's a comfortable outfit. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump into week number 4 and see what these players brought to the table to beat out their opponents and be victorious. Wake Forest was already up a game, there were 4 minutes left on the clock, and they just couldn't find that first point to take the lead and put them up 2-0 in the series. But in a final moment of success, Malone clears it from one coast to another and finds an open goal, giving Wake Forest the lead once again.
These Champ 3 and Champ 2 is doing. I mean, seriously, look at Malone making advantages for himself.
Wow.
And he will put Wake Forest on the map. This game number 5 could just go their way.
I just want to say Malone just said, I'm going to show you what a Champ 3 can do. All right, buddy?
On a control map in Overwatch, your team must capture 100% of a point to succeed. 99 just won't cut it. King Rock from Keene University was fully aware of that and didn't just find a Death Blossom. He found a full-blown Death Garden to keep his team alive.
Sound barrier to go away as well, especially now that you have your own. It's going to be a little bit more breathing room. Doesn't look like the Winneco. Okay, there we are. Now it's coming up big. This Reaper has bloomed.
That was just gorgeous amount of patience coming.
GVSU Blue found themselves up by 5 rounds, and it's always better to turn that 5 into a 6. It's incredible, however, that this team doesn't always need all 5. It can come down to just one player and how much they can really GVS do.
An Illusion delivers with efficiency. 3 in a row. No time left, even if they had the chance at Orbital Strike out of the last.
This battle between Muskingum and St. Francis was insanely close. Only 3 players in a round, and there were 1 player left on both sides, both down to their final stock. Things were looking pretty strong for St. Francis, their Luigi only at 40%, but it was up to Splat to do anything but.
Just keep him off stage with that Zare.
Oh!
If that spot right here for Teo.
If that block didn't disappear,
oh
no way.
Oh! Just steps on the
pressure plate.
A tale as old as time, Pace White versus Pace Gold, and Pace White's morale was through the roof as they won a fight, but little did they know, this was Lofi's world, and they wouldn't be living in it for much longer.
Going in with the blade.
Uh-oh, Blade is out. It's hacked. It doesn't matter, though. Slashes away for 2. Looking for a 3rd. Looking for 4. Won't get it just yet on the Blade. However, the slash and dash works out. Lofi's got 3. Looking for everybody else on this team. It's a White.
The Inkling versus Ganondorf matchup is not very good for Ganondorf, but let's be honest, which matchups are? In this clip, we're going to be watching as JD from Fisher learns the hard way that you never really want to meet an Inkling off stage.
We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise.
Oh, and it's gonna jumped into it.
This corner judge is good for 1, 2, yeah, he needs more.
They're doing even more here. You gotta touch the point. Mr. College walks it in.
Toy Boy just gonna drop.
Knife him.
Right out in front.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, running.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Esports U Live. I'll be your host this evening, Paulie Hype, and on the docket we have some amazing collegiate esports coming your way from our partner conferences in that coveted chase of the CECC spot here in the spring split. Last night, before we get over to tonight's action, let's take a look at some of the things that went down, and that was the feature match for the ECAC Valorant, which featured 2 schools in Stockton University and Saginaw Valley State University. Both Stockton and SVSU were looking for their first win of the spring 2023 season, and only one team was able to get there. The first half of Ascent, Map 1, went back and forth as both teams were trading rounds with each other, but SVSU had a small lead. Stockton's comeback started to appear after the first half, and one of the heavy hitters had to be Comedic's KO as he got amazing initiations and started turning the game. SVSU were not able to grab back the momentum as Stockton claimed the first match in a 13-10 victory. Impressive stuff. We got our first look at Lotus as well, and SVSU came out swinging as they dominated the first half to get a score of 3-9. The dominance didn't just stop there, as they were just kept throwing punches, trying to claim the win on Lotus and take us to the decider match split. Split came about, looked like it would be SVSU favorite in the beginning, but Stockton soon fought back to make sure it was a close map number 3. There were several rounds where it came down to the final members of both teams, which just shows how close the series was in general. It was stated earlier that only one team can come out with the win, and it was Stockton as they closed week 2 with a 2-1 victory over SVSU, but Saginaw Valley hanging in there the entire time. So really good job to them right there. That was last night. Tonight, however, we have 2 feature matchups. Coming up first is going to be Rocket League in the ECAC conference. This will be the Masters Champ 3 division, Division A Champ division, and it'll be a best of 7 with 3 players on each team. The 2 schools will be Trine University as well as Bruton Parker College. So we'll see both of those schools going head-to-head tonight in some Rocket League Division A action. That'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern. At 8, and that'll be casted, by Danger, Taco, and Chixa. So we'll be heading to them right here after you listen to me babble for a little bit. After that, 8 p.m. EST, we'll have Overwatch 2. And this is going to be an amazing matchup. Obviously, both Rocket League and Overwatch will be, but this Overwatch 2 match is going to be a Masters Division A ECAC conference match. It'll be Ball State Overwatch, one of my favorites in the conference, going up against the Blue Hens, University of Delaware. And that'll be casted by Sam Talks and Chef Billy. So, without further ado, that's the update for Around Esports U. Right now, let's get over into Division A for the ECAC conference of some Rocket League. Danger, Taco, and Chixa, I'm finished. You take it and enjoy the rest of your evening. Everyone, make sure to tune in and hit follow on all socials at Esports U Gaming and at Esports U. I'm Paulie Hype. We'll see you next time.
Wow. Thanks so much, Polly. Of course, always bringing that hype. Of course, it is me, Chixa. I'm here with Danger Taco tonight for Rocket League at Esports U. We love our collegiate Rocket League, and what better to be an ECAC action team that we're fairly familiar with in Bruton Parker, and then a team not so familiar that maybe hasn't been around in the Rocket League scene for a while in Trine University.
Yeah, and it's one thing to say that, yes, we haven't really heard of this team, but the thing is about squads like Trine is that there's so many colleges to keep on track of. I would argue too many. There's thousands of schools, but that means there's also a lot of competition. Bruton Parker as in a team that, for the most part, there's a little bit of a roster change in there, but they did make it all the way to the Collegiate Rocket League, so clearly quite the organized team. Trine's going to have their work cut out for them, but that's one thing I also like about Collegiate is that every once in a while you do have a team that's just able to maybe punch above their weight, and I'm interested to see what Trine can bring to the table.
Absolutely. Trine not doing well last week. This is week 2 in ECAC. They lost to Iona Rocket League Gold in 4-1 fashion. So starting off with a loss. As for Bruton Parker, they really haven't gotten to play yet. Their first week, it was just a win over a forfeit, a mismatch, whatever it was. So they haven't yet played in ECAC, but as we said, they're pretty familiar with the collegiate scene. They've been here, they've played before. A little bit of a roster change, like we mentioned. Sino now there instead of Melodic, so maybe not as strong as a team that we've seen in the past, but one that certainly understands how to play in that collegiate sphere.
Yeah, and understandably, even if you do make it changes, you have a majority of it. Soul and Antics are players that I do recognize on that roster, and I think even with Sino coming in as really the new player, you have the nice benefit of knowing that you're not just sliding into some randoms. You actually do have a lot of players that you really well and duly trust. So again, I don't want to really focus too much of the spotlight on Bruton Parker, but certainly they're coming in as very much a program that has proven themselves. So situations like this for Trine, as they're going through the season, trying to rack up those wins, get into conference playoffs, I think this is really where you need to come back into it, particularly because after coming off a loss in week 1, those are the things you really need to buckle down, because now this is like the true test when you're facing off a team that's probably one of the better in your division.
Yeah, ECAC allows for some leniency during their season. I believe they have a total of 8 matches throughout the entire eight weeks of divisional play before they move on forward. So with that being said, they tend to have that space and time to react, to make those adjustments and get used to everything.
And so we'll be seeing an initial attack going forward from Bruton Parker, but really the one thing that I am looking forward to, I would say the most, is to see how Trine usually deals with this pace. Normally, when you do get into situations against teams like this, you want to be able to match their pace, but other times, teams kind of buckle down and they just kind of turtle in their net. I don't really like that philosophy because ordinarily it gets taken advantage of pretty quickly, but other times you get a little bit chipped over and Antics is there to tap it in.
Yeah, I believe that's kind of a mistake here on the catch. It ends up almost rolling in, and able to take over is Antics, of course, rocking that serial contender badge. They understand what's at stake on the table, and they will get that first blood goal, which I would have expected them to have the ability to. Sino now following up from this kickoff on Antics, and that's 2 back-to-back goals for Bruton Parker.
Yeah, and it's a nice way to take advantage. That's why not only do you cheat up on the kickoff, but you make sure you're aware of anything. It's really a reaction time test, unlike really anything else when you're that close to the ball. If it goes straight up in the air, you can't really buffer too much. You have to immediately get that read off, and you can see both players doing exactly that. Unfortunately, Bruton Parker was able to knock it past the defender, so already it seems like Trine being dealt with a lesson that you really do not have a lot of room to screw about, especially on defense.
Everybody's names, Antics, Sino, and Soul, as we suggested earlier for Bruton Parker, and Gik, Nim, and Professor Zoe on the side of Trine University. But Bruton Parker, again, another great passing play ends up being executed. Antics to Sino, and it seems like Sino, being the newer part of this roster, is having no difficulty working together with this team. As you said, 2 of 3 players say that chemistry is still there, and he has seemed to fit in just fine thus far.
Yeah, the one thing that I think really speaks to me about players like this, especially coming into a roster that has had success previously, is most teams are really only as good as their floor. If your third player really can't keep up the pace, you're going to be able to have some success, but ultimately that weaker link is going to come through. And so far, certainly very happy with what I've seen out of Sino, as really Soul trying to get his name up on the score sheet found the way through, but that's really the one thing that I think Bruton Parker's going to be focused on, and at this point I think Trine is just trying to figure out what's the best way to be able to plug down these gaps and make sure they can bust forward. They nearly found one there, but good deflection in the midfield from Bruton Parker.
Definitely. I think Trine needs to get more comfortable in the air. You could see Bruton Parker very comfortable. They've been letting that ball fly, following it up, and a lot of aerial attacks. And getting comfortable in the air, finding that contesting touch is going to be essential. Bruton Parker has had so much time, space, and just they seem comfortable. They've been comfortable this entire time. Make Bruton Parker uncomfortable, and they may mess up just like any other team, any other player that you'll see on the field.
And right now they're certainly trying to keep the ball in their possession. Look at the air dribble. And actually, just off screen, we actually saw a player go off the ceiling. So certainly they're not lacking for confidence. They're looking to create the ball into create situations with the ball that are going to be very precarious. Professor Zoe nearly actually hopped on a back pass that went a little bit awry, but that one's not going to be hit in time. Soul off the backboard, looking for a double and a spectacular save from Nim. Going to keep that one away.
Oh, unfortunate. The freestyle, the clip moment ends up being taken away, but possibly second opportunity here for Antics. Can't find the double tap angle. Great flick here by Gik, but can't follow up. Patiently waiting as Nim doesn't read that off the sidewall either. Nice pass toward midfield. Nobody there to collect for Bruton Parker. Try number 2. Soul looking at Antics and just the connection. Not exactly there. Antics pre-jumps maybe a little too early, but it's nice to see, as we said earlier, the confidence that Bruton Parker is showing.
Yeah, right now they're trying to, every different way of approaching the goal. It seems like they're going off the backboard, they're going for infield passes, they're going for pre-jumps, they're going in for the solo plays. So really everything that you'd want out of an offense, I think you're really seeing as a spectacle. And I think only naturally you're going to see Trine somewhat just try to make sure that they're keeping these touches clear, and then they'll focus on offense secondarily. Speaking of, that ball almost got away from Bruton Parker on the side, but instead Trine will take it back to their own half and have to kind of rebuild the foundation.
Only temporarily. A quick contest. Antics trying to fake that one away. Doesn't end up faking Gick. Touch here off the back wall, and a fantastic read by Antics, not allowing that ball to get towards center field. Sino looking across field on the transition, doesn't find the connection. This is an open net. Is it on target? It is. Gick finds one for Trine, and on the transition, they get their first goal.
Yeah, and this is really what games like this are usually made of. If you are really getting beat up on your back end, like Trine has been, where they've struggled to get those consistent clears, and Bruton Parker is a team that really does like to do that, eventually there will be moments where if you can parry away just enough opportunities, you will have one open up, and being able to take those is critical. Granted, with only 35 seconds remaining, the clutch factor is really going to have to come on in, so we'll see what Trine can do with that, particularly when their clears are getting blocked, and now they're all going to be demoed. Sino off the seal, and looking to bury this one, the back post, and my goodness, will he?
Such a beautiful shot. Sino has played a very essential attacking role to this team. He doesn't get the connection to Soul, but nonetheless, that shot is absolutely gorgeous. It seems like, yes, Melodic may no longer be here, but Sino has some mechanics up his sleeve as well. Melodic being a very mechanical player at that time for Bruton Parker. So the fact that they're able to still bring a fire with this new addition is very exciting for me to see for potentially Bruton Parker in years to come. If Sino is only, say, a freshman or a younger classman, then they have plenty of time to make this team better and better. But nonetheless, game one, it goes to Bruton Parker in 4-1 fashion. I think they take it pretty handedly. And man, look at the points for Sino. 3 of the 4 goals, all from him, gets that hat trick himself.
And so it kind of answers our question about how Sino's going to fit in. The answer is very well. And I think that was really Bruton Parker feeling very comfortable all game. That one goal on transition, I would say a little bit of a blip on the overall game plan, but this is something that I think Trine might have come into this game expecting, particularly if they do pay attention to the Collegiate Rocket League scene at the highest level, that they know this is going to be an established school. I think they really need to look at that one goal and recognize that this is not going to be a game where they're going to just be really just a dummy used for target practice. This is a game they can stay in. They just really need to be a bit more, I would say, judicious with which challenges they take, how much boost they're using, and obviously when a chance does come up, they really got to make sure their accuracy is there.
Yeah, it's making, again, Bruton Parker uncomfortable. They had so much space in the air, off the side walls, sometimes off the backboard as well. They need to try to attack before those opportunities make themselves apparent. If Bruton Parker is attacked just a little bit sooner, just a little bit quicker, then maybe those goals won't go in as often at least, and there'll be more opportunities for Trine. But it is a little bit of a skill diff. Hopefully, Trine can rise to that occasion, but what I've seen so far is Bruton Parker does have the mechanical advantage.
And they're certainly going to try and use that as much as possible. Soul getting stopped, but still will be kind of teed up in the front, but I don't think anyone in Bruton Parker wanted to fully challenge this one, as at least the initial foray dealt well with by Trine underneath one, and actually with a lead blocker. I do like that. That is a demo going through, but fortunately, their last act before getting sent to the graveyard is getting the deflection, so will not hurt Bruton Parker any means, as likewise they will be rejected with a couple near post challenges and a miss on that near post as well.
Shot by Sino just off target. Here comes the possible transition. A couple of demos out on both sides of the field, and Professor Zoe with the ball with some time and just can't get it on top of his car to send it away in a flick. Nim working up the back wall, trying to bump Antics off. He does successfully do so. Soul now trying to work center field. Looks like Sino was bumped, so he can't get that ball follow up quick enough. Perhaps make an opportunity of his own, though. Stalls that ball in the air, follows it up, and gets a nice shot off target. Look at that recovery from Sino. That's a solo play to say it all. He does great work by himself.
Yeah, and I'm always a fan of plays like that where it's not always about picking out a perfect pass or being able to show off a lot of mechanics. That clear comes through and they just throw it right back at him in a weird place, forces the defense just to think for a second. You can see the gears turning, saying how is it best to approach this? And while they're thinking about all that, Sino's just chasing it down, making sure they put it in a dangerous position. And what's more dangerous than right in the back of the net? Nice opening goal for Bruton Parker with a well-strategized approach.
Time will tell if Bruton Parker can continue to attack. Both Sino and Soul almost on one another. This ball lands in the car of Antics. Great contest by Gick, but Antics right place, right time, able to poke it to Soul, who finishes off this play. Just a disaster on the side of Trine. So much chaos being made by Bruton Parker, and they manage yet again to result in a goal.
And it's one of the most irritating things is when the ball is just not getting out of your box, let alone your half, and then just being able to have a player take a 50 and then just being able to sit there and lob it right in the middle for an open pass is devastating for sure. But Trine has been here before. They know what this team is capable of, and they know that they can selectively move on forward with touches like that. Great recovery from Soul. Just be able to tap that one to the corner. It's not out of danger yet. They're still throwing it right in front of goal, but unfortunately, Trine had to grab some boost, so they're just a little bit too far away.
Communication there, double commit for Trine, and that gives Bruton Parker the ball back. Sino doesn't get a touch, but it does bounce on in. Sometimes those plays just happen and nobody in net was ready for it. Gick, unfortunately, just feels bad on the post.
And then something that is, I would say, even more devastating than a well-hit redirect sometimes is really just missing that touch. As you see, Bruton Parker stretching forward, but the defense is so prepared. They're so ready to be able to defend that next touch that once that miss comes in, everyone kind of pauses, decide, wait, hold on, what just happened? And then by the time they actually catch up to the play, it's already in. Much like, apparently, that shot was looking like it was going to be, but apparently there's no follow from Bruton Parker. It's going to stay at 3-0 as we hit halftime in Game 2.
Well, time just keeps ticking, and it looks like some demos is what Trine is trying to bring to the table, but the transition for Bruton Parkers have been so strong. Here's a clear towards center field. Sino looking to pass back to Antics. The triple pass not executed. A miss here. A pass out towards midfield. The speed. Soul finds the shot, and Bruton Parker trying to get interesting with it, trying to find a little bit more advanced playmaking. Not executing just yet, but it's nice to see they're taking that step and exploring the possibilities they have as a team.
And fortunately for Bruton Parker, if they have a decent insurance on their car, their premium is certainly going to go up. They're getting demoed a lot from Trine University, and I really do like that approach. If a team wants to play a bit more finesse, they want to be able to kind of dance around the field and they're sitting still sometimes, yeah, certainly punish them for that lackadaisical approach. I think it's certainly slowing things down. The thing is being able to take advantage of it after that demo comes in, because after all, you are sending a player kind of out of rotation to commit for that. I think that's one thing that Trine can maybe work on as we head a little bit farther into Game 2, or maybe even Game 3, is right now, despite the offense slowly starting to ramp up for Trine, they're just not able to break past that final line.
I agree. It's been quite some time since we've seen a Bruton Parker goal. So they've, at least like you said, successfully stalled Bruton Parker from getting those goals successfully. But on the back foot, Sino almost manages to get that one, but on the back foot, Trine, as you said, hasn't executed after getting those demos. So with time ticking down, they may have one or two opportunities to gain some momentum to look towards Game 3, but Bruton Parker, a pretty big lead. Antics will add one more on late in this Game 2.
And nice little approach here as well, getting the flip reset, and that is so devastating from Nim, I would say, simply because the aerial was great. They were online, and they even did get a touch on it after that flick did come through, but sometimes if you don't stop those flip resets beforehand and you don't have someone there to solidly back you up, it's pretty much game over at that point. And Bruton Parker has shown a good amount of resilience and also adaptability. They have been stymied at times, not been able to break into the goal like they have been before, and then they just try something else, and it seems to all work out. Also helps if you're hitting clips like that. Sino nearly getting a crazy redirect off the corner. That would have been certainly the cherry on top here of game number 2, which is going to go the way of Bruton Parker.
It's still exciting to watch them attempt those plays. I like when a team does, again, take that opportunity to take some chances and change up their play style, possibly figure out what may work best. And what, in the case of maybe a little bit more challenging opponent, what they can maybe get away with. So Bruton Parker, I think all around as a team, successfully played game number 2, and when it goes 12-10 on that shot count as well, you could tell the aggressiveness certainly in favor of Bruton Parker.
Yeah, and this is certainly the situation for Bruton Parker that they want to instill. Even if you're not scoring all your shots, you want to be able to keep your offense consistent. And I think the one thing that you really see a confident team, or at least a well-conditioned team, is being able to see the touches come through, not work out, and then immediately they try to go for a back pass, or they just try to be able to release pressure just enough that they can then reformat the positioning, get it right back, and then go right back onto offense. It's something that I think Trine is currently struggling with, mainly because I think they're just trying to find their footing. At times it feels like they're just trying to stand on ice, because every single time they clear the ball, it's then right back in their face. I think that's certainly the difficulty now as we've reached potentially the halfway point here of what looks to be a current trend that Bruton Parker's on, trying to close this game out in a sweep in this best of 7, but Trine certainly can have some tricks up their sleeve, but it's going to have to take a bit more consistency and obviously all this aerial domination that BPC is displaying right now.
Absolutely. I think the demo game was smart that they were thinking of a new strategy, trying to change up their game plan to find some success on the field. But overall, with that adaptation comes their own adaptation upfield on offensive efforts. I think as well, the couple of misses that we see have really been hurting their momentum, whether it's defensive momentum to get that ball out of their half or offensive momentum upfield to try to find an opportunity. Nonetheless, they can't miss balls like that, since then someone else will be knocking on the door of Rhino, trying so bad to get that triple tap, and it does not manage. Upfield though, Professor Zoe just hits Nim a little off target, and now Gif will be back by himself, and it's a restart, a refresh for Trine on the defensive foot. A couple of misses and momentum slowing this game down as Bruton Parker, they will take their time on their first offensive efforts.
And now they're even just going for bumps there, giving a little bit of taste of their own medicine to the side of Trine, and still trying to find those passes. Nearly blocks their own teammate is Sino. Maybe just a little bad-mannered approach there, but that also will allow Nim to go forward with a lead blocker, and well done by Soul. Be able to dodge out of the way, limbo underneath that one, and then get the clear away.
The mind games by Sino, the patience as well. Doesn't get much boost, missed the flip reset, lets the ball bounce, and then takes the shot. He doesn't rush, he doesn't panic, he takes his time, and he gets the shot off that he's given after what has already happened. Great decision making by Sino on that play.
And that's one thing that I always do like to see out of players. It's obviously when you go for solo play, people think of just like the straightforward air dribble or going for flip resets, but the main thing that makes those plays work oftentimes is a little bit of a delay, make the defense doubt, and nothing's better than being able to have an open shot and then just slow it down just enough, make the defense freeze for a second, and then throw it right over their head. It seems very simplistic, but there's a lot of forethought that has to go into that.
Good touch to at least stall this ball in midfield, trying to hold off on the defensive side of the field. They've managed, I think, better than in the games in the past to defend against it. Sino back on respawn, but can't get it past far enough. Soul wins off a demo, tries to find this pass toward midfield, ends up bumping his teammate who gets demoed, and time for Trine, but they're not communicating correctly. All three cars clustered on that ball, and Antics will have room to give himself a pass off this back wall.
And Antics not only being patient, but then understanding that sometimes beating a defense isn't about necessarily doing the one play to undo everything. It's just being able to beat players one at a time, flicks it to the sidewall, then immediately hits it to the backboard, and then follows it up yet again with a little bit of a dish into the goal. That's a lot of solo effort, just to be able to get through all three players in a very tight system within the corner.
Low end of boost. Nim ends up putting that ball to his corner. I don't know if that's the touch he was looking for, but he manages to save himself. Huge play on the goal line to prevent another Bruton Parker goal, but Sino takes his time to get up to the skies. Does Nim have the read? He does. Has done wonderful work on the goal line for Trine University. Granted, saves do not win games. Soul is able to read that one off the backboard. Just gets the touch he needs. And that's one of those plays that you make sometimes one every, 30 or so attempts that you're hoping there on the backboard.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. The thing is, as that pass came in, I was thinking to myself, that's so unfortunate. Soul's actually way too high for that. They're not going to be able to spike that down. But then they delay the flick, understanding that, and then put it right on in. Speaking of Trine, seemingly at a wide open goal, they still technically had one, but the recovery was there. No goal as a consolation to be able to, let's say, numb a little bit of the pain of this 3-0. Unfortunately from Trine, and to make it matters worse, Soul's back for more with his second.
Another just not great touch by Nim. It needs to be harder into that back corner. Instead, there is a pass by Sino that's made, and Soul is ready to put that in. Just squeak it in on the spot he's given on the net. Great work by Bruton Parker, doing whatever they're given with and finding the best possible solution to that. They're changing it up, and Nim just can't let that ball go in. The shot too high, bounces off the board and out. Unfortunate for Trine. They still have yet to get another goal since the one we saw earlier. This one's pretty open. Antics will leave it. Attempt to maybe a little bit more crafty of a play with his teammates.
And right now you see BPC obviously going for kind of like more memey touches, trying to get the passes off, but then they're just going back to really old reliable when they do get those opportunities. Soul, as you see, take it from the side wall and just being able to delay that flick just enough to tuck it underneath, and gets the dish as well. Fantastic recovery and showing that every single member of Bruton Parker really does have that solo ability to make a difference.
Absolutely. Bruton Parker up now 5-0 this game. Flick for Nim will not go over Sino, and he as well as Antics will take to the skies. Attempt the midfield pinch, do not find it. Soul, Labrisa here gets one, does get two, but a little off kiltered, unable to put that ball on target. Sino, another contest. Trine just trying to get this ball on the Bruton Parker half. A double commit again, causing some players to get out of rotation. And I think if Trine honestly cleaned up a little bit of those rotational errors, those double commits, they may just be in better spots on occasion to make some plays on the ball. Even all three of them are kind of next to one another in this play, and we're lucky that ball goes into Nim and ends up bouncing off the wall. Trine finds one in the remaining seconds.
And I like how this is them both kind of like walking up together. It's like they're escorting the ball upfield, but then even the dunk comes in and Nim's saying, okay, yeah, I'll be here. I got the deflection, and all of Bruton Parker. They kind of pre-jumped it thinking they had that read, but I think they realized just how dire it was going right on target. Granted, saying it's dire on one case doesn't really take into account the full situation. This has been Bruton Parker's game, and indeed it will end that way as well. They'll be moving on to match point here as they're going to close this one out. It looks like maybe with one more clutch demo to keep it just at 5.
5-1. Game 3 goes to Bruton Parker. So we're at match point. Potential sweep to be made for Bruton Parker. And what I'm most impressed about is instead this was Soul's game. He had 3 of the 5 goals, of clearly 6 of the 13 shots. He did really great work, but game 1 was Sino, game 2 is Antics, this game Soul. Each player Bruton Parker has had their time, had their opportunity, their chance to really shine. And ultimately, we see all of them shine throughout the game, but someone was that MVP at the end of the day. And as for Trine, Nim has been doing fantastic work on the saves. As you can tell, he has all 4 of the same saves that they make. But it's unfortunate since Nim can't do everything. He does get their only 1 goal, which we saw, but just a little bit of more support, I think, on Nim. And maybe, again, not double committing on some of those plays may leave more open opportunities for the team of Trine.
Yeah, it's tough when you're trying and you're dealing with so many different approaches, but specifically the mechanics. I mean, we're seeing Seoul at this point go for double flip resets. I think we established that they very much feel comfortable in the air. And granted, the only way to stop that is to contest them earlier and potentially put yourself out of position or be able to trust everyone is staggered up. And I think that's the one thing that Trine has been struggling with the most is that, in fact, most of the attacks going forward, I feel like they're doing okay. It just, as you mentioned, sometimes there's a double commit or maybe the ball gets past the first defender and the second defender can't quite angle the touches correctly, and that stuff can really be devastating, much like Professor Zoe going through your back line. They got a nice demo, but unfortunately, the next followed up player is also going to be demoed for Trine, and they're reset right back to square one.
Yeah, Professor Zoe chasing here, attempting to find some demos, but instead, Zyno sends us up to midfield. Soul off the backboard, shut down for Soul! Bruton Parker finds their first in this game, and Soul executes to perfection.
Really well done, even with his teammate, just to go along, just for good moral support, just saying, don't worry, man, you got it, as that goes straight on in. You don't need to help out Soul. We've seen that before. Hat trick in the last game, and starting this one off with the goal of the series, in my mind.
Absolutely incredible shot. Antics will just get another one here, but I'm still reeling about that last one. Such gorgeous plays, and here, this is just a demo. This is just everyone being right place, right time for Bruton Parker. They have certainly secured themselves in a great spot, I think, thus far in ECAC. I mean, now they're going up 2-0 series-wise. They've done really wonderful work today, and I think they have great potential overall to have a really good season at ECAC.
And certainly the goals, if we're making sure we're keeping track of stats, that they're going to be well kept for in that department, as Sino sets up a really clever little touch there. They didn't really have an angle to shoot that. Well, they didn't really want to pinch that one across. They just kind of air dribble into the back wall, kind of let it bounce off them, and then it just lobs perfectly out on that near post to their teammate. Well worked, and obviously this minute not much different than the rest of the 15 or 20 minutes that we've seen this team play. They seem like they all know where they need to be, and the pre-jumps are only going to continue. Only a matter of time, it feels like, until one of those connects.
Absolutely. But time will tell. Time will possibly bring more goals. Soul misses that one, and Sino will get a nice back pass to him as well as they attempt to set something up. Antics finds the touch into the corner, and still Bruton Parker just brings more pressure. Nim now with plenty of time, but unfortunately not much boost. We'll need to send this just upfield. Kick as well. Gets a clear out and only into the car of Soul. Great positioning for Bruton Parker in that midfield presence. Always able to collect those clears from Trine and have someone else start up the attacking force again. And then a miss here, and Intex will take it off the ceiling. Has some boost down to Soul, and I know will as well win his 50. He gets a demo in midfield. Again, looking to set up the shot, the play, the pass, whatever it is. Patiently, Bruton Parker will wait, and if they have to reset, they will. Antics finds the pass this time as well, and Bruton Parker gets yet another.
And it seems like they don't ever want to do things the simple way. Antics was already jumping for that one before the first touch came through, so always a fan of just being able to make these goals as complicated as possible. It still works out, so can't really criticize them in that venture, as just trying to have a little bit of fun with it, as it seems like Trine is trying to at least go for a lot of demos. I've seen Professor Zoe go for a lot of them through that back line, even just kind of go for demos just for demo's sake, which honestly I'm a fan of. If you feel like you're struggling to be able to break forward, then sometimes, yeah, just go for that. Just kind of lurk upfield, and as I say that, she will fly on by on a player just in the midfield line.
Collection here for Professor Zoe. Will get past one. Little bit of a flick and ends up just blocking that one out. Professor Zoe finds one for Trine, and I don't think Bruton Parker was ready to defend from this play. He has this one blocker there to the left of him, and he has his play all by himself.
Yeah, it looked almost like the defender was waiting for that ball off the post, that they read that wasn't going to be in on its own. So fortunately, it did bounce right into the Professor to be able to put on home. And again, Trine finds a way into it, and would love to see some more goals just for the morale's sake, because Seoul's just going to be canceling them right on out. Another hat trick game from that man. It's all of their own making.
Wow. Again, the recovery off the wall, able to right his car, land on his wheels, and flip into it to allow that ball to go in. Such quick thinking, really millisecond movements on that controller, or maybe keyboard, who knows? Probably controller, but just in case, really quick movements by Seoul, and he manages to find another one for his team. I wouldn't be surprised if this team, this Bruton Parker roster, finds, you know, I could see them winning all 8 of their series games. I'm very impressed with what they've shown today, and I think they will continue to dominate in their specific 8-week, 8-team or 7-team division games. They're just dominating.
Yeah, and as I said, it's only a matter of time before they connect on those pre-jumps for the passes, and that is just disgusting on the counterattack. And I tend to agree. This is a team that was top 16 in really all the nation in the Eastern Conference for CRL, and is a team that just barely missed out this time around. So when you do see all these situations come forward and you see all these teams start to amass, there's only so much talent that can really just dominate the board and be able to dominate everybody that lays in their path. And this is one of those teams, though, that is not to be trifled with. As you can see, they're not messing around in any of these games, regardless of their league, and it's like this is just more of a testament to that.
I'll be excited when finals come around. I know that's very far away at this point, but to see this team potentially compete against those who do win in their divisions currently, in their different groupings that everyone has. But they are currently out of Brazil with a minute left. We'll see if they keep that or decide to add more onto the table, more onto that score count. But it's been really wonderful watching Bruton Parker play today and seeing how this team over time has become more involved in that upper level of the collegiate scene.
So we will be seeing some more motion around from Trine as they're just really waiting for the rest of this 30 seconds to go down. But I will say Trine, I mean, there's no shame in this result. This is an incredibly difficult team that they're playing, and to be honest, they handled it better than I really thought they would. There's a lot of games where they were getting a good amount of demos, they were getting a good amount of stops and saves, and I think even getting a couple of goals on is something that really not a lot of teams can really say against a team this good in a Bruton Parker. So I think stuff like this is our learning experiences. Just kind of take one on the chin and say it's okay. We'll be back next week and just keep on playing for that improvement. Because right now, we're not quite enough for Bruton Parker, but that's not saying too much. A few teams are a 4-0 to end out this series here for BPC, and they're moving on to the next week with yet another W under the belt.
Well, just overall a really impressive night for BPC. Seoul with 3 goals there. Antics with 3 goals. Sino has 3 assists. Overall, as a team, they did great. Passing to one another, playing sololy. I mean, 10 shots that game, and they make 7 of 10 just that are on target, and really fantastic job. I'm impressed with what I saw Bruton Parker manage.
Yeah, and they only got more and more solid actually as that game went on, or that series went on rather. And that the amount of pre-jumps I saw, the crazy backboard reads, and I also do like teams that can experiment with that because those are actually real strategies. They're not just about flexing. There's actually a lot of plays that do happen at really all levels of play that involve going for those tricky angles. So when you have a team that can hit those, to me that just shows that it's a team that isn't just going to be shut down if they're blocking the original shots. They always have a way to find their way to your goal, and I think that's certainly something people need to be aware of. Hats off to Trine. I think it's definitely something that they are not going to be happy with in this result, but I still really want to commend them. I do think they've actually played that way better than many teams would have. It's tough when you really have your backs up against the wall, but it's certainly a series that is usually framed as a lesson, and I think they very much should take it like that.
Yeah, I agree. You only learn from the best, and Broome Park are probably one of the best in their division right now. So take every step, replay, look at what Broome Parker did and try to learn from it as best you can. But I think that's it for Rocket League tonight for us. Very quick, best of 7 for ECAC, but good thing they have games every week, and it's really exciting to see as the season goes on, being back in collegiate Rocket League that we both love so much. So it was wonderful watching again tonight, and it was wonderful being in the booth with you. It's been like a month, but we're back in it. We're back at it, and it's nice to be back casting.
Yeah, and this league obviously going to be doing quite a lot within the system. So Esports U, I know, putting on a lot of stuff and being able to bring us the ECAC and bringing all these bigger lands and all these bigger events. So certainly there's going to be a lot of collegiate events going on throughout the entire ecosystem. And this is just one of the many ones. Yes, being able to get some games cast in with you is always very nice, as we are going to just be checking in. I believe we are trying to track down an interview, but I'm not entirely sure if these players are fully available, and so I'm just waiting for final confirmation on that.
Yep. I think we will be getting someone, so that's exciting. So we're going to go to a quick break, allow Antics to get ready, and we'll see what he has to say in just a couple minutes.
Stage like that bomb angle is so good today. Yeah, that bomb angle was beautiful.
Week 4 of ECAC Rocket League was absolutely insane. CMU and FC were tied up 0-0, but it was Gand who told FC they shall not pass game number 2.
Side of FC, they've only got one player for a moment there. They're trying to recollect, they're trying to reposition, but how do you position around a pinpoint accurate shot like this? Gand goes crossbar down for the first goal.
Adams in reverse, backed the defense off with that.
Whenever I'm on the mic for Valorant, you'll often hear the line, check your corners, repeated over and over and over again. And even with me not on the mic to tell them, I have a feeling this team may have learned that lesson.
Nah, he's got to take the shot.
Take it.
Oh yeah, just sounds of teammates running on through, and come on, dive! The 4K on a completely unaware trio. And it's 11-0 right now.
And those are the top 8 moments we thought deserved just a little bit more time in the spotlight of week number 4 here at ECAC. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're interested in what ECAC has going on, we got something happening nearly every day of the week. So check us out right here. Editor, it's a challenge for you. Wink, wink. And folks, this has been all from me. Thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy this, and we've got plenty of weeks down the line. Can't wait to see what comes of them.
And there's so many other jobs as well that can translate out of this experience in esports. The only path is not just as a player. I think all of us are representative of jobs in esports, but it mirrors traditional sports in pretty much the same way. You've got, broadcasters, you've got production people, you've got marketing and sales, and now NIL and things like that. But really, esports is kind of a great accelerator for a lot of new businesses that are coming up in the metaverse and Web3, and there's a lot of new technology that is going to be needed. And so these STEM students that are also esports athletes are really the future workforce and leaders of tomorrow. And us, as well as all of our brand partners that we work with, really recognize this. And I think that's really, a key driver of why brands are in this space. They want to be part of building that future workforce and leadership and shaping it and supporting it. So yeah, it's been a very interesting space to watch.
And we offer such a big, we offer such a big counterpart to traditional sports also, because it's a counterpart, but it's also the same, is what I'm trying to say. Because when you're traditional sports and they're done after their 2-a-day workout and they're done after their practice scrim, they're coming home to play Call of Duty and relax and put their feet up and get a drink and play video games. It grows their brain, problem-solving skills, and their hand-eye coordination while they're home. Hand-eye coordination, if you're a football player, massive skill. So it helps build those things while they're off the field. And then for us, vice versa, if you're an esports athlete, one of the errors I had growing up when I was competing in esports is that I was not active enough. I played sports, I competed a little bit, but I wasn't active enough truly when I look at it. So that's one area that esports players can learn from in terms of activity and physical and the marrying of both. People say, oh, sports and esports, video games. Not really. We're just kind of the tech industry's competitive form of competition.
Just a little bit about that series and also what's going forward. Antics, how you feeling, my friend?
Pretty good. That was a fun series overall.
And I think with series like that, it's nice to be able to see you guys come out with that nice 4-0. But obviously, you're having a lot of fun with it. At what point were you guys really just like, let's just try to go for cool clips? Because you guys hit quite a lot of them, actually, within that series. Yours was personally my favorite. I love the 1-2 all the way through the air. That's just so satisfying, I'm sure, to hit.
Yep, that was really cool. It mainly started after the second game. Just started going more fancy stuff instead of just it.
Awesome. Where do you guys see yourself as you progress throughout the ECA season and just as a team in general? Are you feeling confident that you'll win it all out? You'll get to the finals? You'll have a really good season? Do you think there's teams that you may stumble across in the way? Overall, how is your team feeling looking forward?
Ultimately, I'm very confident. I think we could definitely be a top team. But, I mean, it's just down to practice. So if any other team practices really hard, they can catch up too.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I've noticed, particularly about your roster, is that in former iterations of the Bruton Parker roster, you've had Melodic in there, and now you have Sino playing regularly alongside Soul and yourself. So how do you feel like that has been whenever you have to add a new player into the rotation, really get them those reps consistently to play at this level? Was there kind of a difficult transition, or does Sino just kind of fit right in?
He fit right in mostly. He was been our sub before, so he knew how we rotated, what we did, practice stuff. So it was pretty smooth rotation through.
Awesome. Well, is there anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go, let you rest? I know being a college student is quite demanding. So just give those thanks to anyone, anything you'd like to say. Mic is open to you.
Just college, Bruton Parker, and y'all for streaming it. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, lovely to hear from you, Antics. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your night, and we'll be able to let you get back to whatever you need to get back to.
Y'all too. Thank you.
And yes, with that said, now, Chicks, so yes, we are able to kind of cap this one off. Bruton Parker getting that 4-0 over a Trine University. And yes, it was a pleasure to be able to sit in the booth with you again. Hopefully it can happen again sometime soon. And for everybody in the future who wants to be able to catch on Esports U, obviously they can follow the socials. And if they want to watch maybe some other esports that maybe we're not covering, they can actually stick right here because, Chicks, so we got a little bit of Overwatch 2 action coming up, don't we?
Yep, it's going to be Ball State University Black versus University of Delaware. And of course, we won't be on the mic anymore. It's going to be Sam Talks and Chef Billy. So I'm very excited to bring them to you after this break. Bring the Overwatch action. So stay tuned at Esports U.
Together while also being counterparts.
I think then to speak to something about marrying, right, from traditional to esports, that to me speaks to this whole new thing. At least again, from you guys, right? You guys have more traditional sports background, right? Paulie, Mike, and all of that. But I think let's talk NIL then, because I think that's something that I think is really interesting. That at least when I heard about it, right, of what we're trying to do with, esports athletes, schools, programs in general. Because it wasn't something you would think normally, right? You could understand, right? Football player on the field, star quarterback. It makes sense, right? The guy is somebody that everybody knows on campus, whether you're on the team, off the team, or you're just going to the school. It makes sense. But I think, nowadays it's not as common, or people don't think that they could be somebody that their name is out there, right? Or that they're known, right? As we're growing this space, as we're putting this together, it almost feels really interesting that, your star entry in Valorant, or your star forward on Rocket League, right? Whatever the case might be, now they can have NIL deals. It's a thing out there, and I think, I don't know, maybe Mike, you want to start off, but
I think thank you for teeing that up. So I was talking for too long. I forgot to bring NIL into the mix, so it's a common occurrence, occupational hazard. So I would say that so NIL for I'm sure most of you watching understand what it is, but NIL stands for name, image, and likeness. Name, image, and likeness, that term has been utilized to describe the transition of traditional student athletes, NCAA athletes, and their ability to monetize their name, image, and likeness. It went live July 1st, 2021, and it has continued over the course of the last nearly 14 months now. It's an interesting term because it's been co-opted to describe the NCAA's approach to student athletes being able to make endorsement money or be able to monetize any part of their name, image, and likeness. But it's been around forever, right? We've had athletes endorsing brands for over 100 years. Babe Ruth of the New York Yankees was endorsing brands 100 years ago, and it has continued onward from baseball cards all the way through now, where we have lots of different integrations of how influencers can monetize their followings. So what I would say on the traditional side is it's still a very young space. There are a lot of stories out there regarding NIL that tend to focus on the negative, or how out of control, I put in air quotes, it has gotten. But there is still a burgeoning marketplace for many more student athletes that are involved. About 17% of NCAA athletes are currently involved in NIL, but 65% more than that want to get involved and are curious how to get started. On the flip side, brands are challenged with a few different things in the space. There are 10,000 professional athletes in the United States. Once July 1st, 2021 hit, and you dump every NCAA athlete into that space, that's another 500,000. So brands that maybe didn't have a dedicated athlete strategy when there were 10,000 now have 500,000 plus that 10,000 to figure out how to activate who they are. That's a lot. I understand brands' hesitancy in some instances, but I can tell you that companies like us are on a daily basis educating brands and student athletes as to the software you can use, the types of activations you can get involved in, and how to utilize your followings, or if you don't have to or want to be a social media star, other ways in which you can monetize it. Now, I know I described that under the umbrella of the NCAA, but I see it as being no different in esports. I think there are massive opportunities for people with followings to be able to use that and connect with brands. I think a company like us can help you to do that. And then beyond that, we can make sure that those transactions are safe for you. I think there are opportunities, not just at the individual competitor level, but at the program level to have a sponsorship go to that. I'm sure some of you out there listening and watching already have deals like that in place, but I think we can continue to enhance, augment those deals and make them more comprehensive and make them, first of all, I think product deals are perfectly fine, but I think we can get beyond that and grow some of these deals to a greater extent. Paulie, thoughts on that?
Yeah, what you said is right. So I'll put it in for layman's terms here for just the esports players, because I talk to so many of our athletes that compete in our CECC series that are currently still in college. And basically when Mike Blewett says NIL, what he's referring to is just very simple. If a brand or any sort of anyone wants to use your school's name or your brand or anything with you, there is a deal for you that can be put in place, whether it's product deal, whether it's a paid endorsement. you can, whether you're a macro influencer or whether you're a micro influencer, you can be paid for your services. So most of the people, when I talk to them, most of the, I won't say people, college athletes, they are, intimidated by the word. They don't really know what it means. They've never done anything with it before. And that's what it means. Any single time a brand or anyone at all wants to use your name or do a deal with you or do some sort of activation with you or your school, that's basically what the layman's terms, the NIL meaning comes from. And it's evolving in this space. There are so many brands that want to associate with micro and macro influencers and just get people involved with their products or their services. So all of you, collegiate athletes out there that are competing in esports, not only are we trying to broker those deals, but also keep your eyes, ears open, and don't be shy or scared to take these deals, because that's what I've heard the most, is that most of the time they're just scared to take them. They don't know what they are. They don't know if they're locking themselves into some agreement or terms that they're like going to give their name away or something too. So this is a really important space, and it's how you're all going to physically make money and build your brands along with company brands. So it's really important to learn. And my advice is to just get your feet wet. Don't worry about shying away. Read the contracts and take some of these deals, because growing your own brand is the future of what our industry is going to be, in my opinion.
Exactly, and if you follow in the pro space, you'll see that the pro teams are not only focusing on competitive play, but a lot of them are focusing on their brand and their cultural importance in the space. And so, one of the things that we do also is help athletes build their brand, build their following, and that's part of what Paulie and Kyler are doing on their side when we do this behind the scenes training. And so, building your brand, this is the creator economy. Anybody and everybody can be anything they want to be. And so we just really want to be the conduit that supports that across the board.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. With that said, thank you everyone for, I think, great insights in terms of, for any of you that were watching this and maybe had questions about, what is Esports U, what is CSMG, who are they, what are they doing, what are our plans, right? Well, we know we kind of tried to make a bigger splash in the spring, and we're excited to bring more stuff with you guys for the next year. But I think maybe as we close out here, I know we're slowly approaching on time then, but maybe let's go around the room with everyone here of just what's one thing that we're all excited for this next upcoming year. I know we touched on our plans and a lot of things, but if anyone had to speak, if you had to speak to just one thing of just what has you excited for us as a company, for us as the collegiate or college esports space, right? What's one thing that has all of you guys excited? And maybe we'll start with Mike, since our traditional sports guy, and we'll let Mike speak first.
Sure. So I would say many things on the traditional side, but I'll focus on esports. And I'd say the thing that I'm most excited about going forward is, after yet another year of us doing a round of events, I'm excited that more schools will understand exactly what we're doing with our regional events and culminating in CECC and getting more schools involved. I think schools will be more excited to compete in our events because we've established it over the course of a year, and I welcome any and all conversations with getting people involved.
I think for me, I'm most excited about like the schools and conferences. Mike, that's amazing. That's so exciting. I'm also excited about the brands that we're starting to be able to get involved in this. In our Commissioner's Cup in last May, we had over 14 brands, blue chip brands, participating in our event. Barbasol, Microsoft, CDW, Morgan Stanley, New Street, Air Force. And so I think brands are really starting to get excited about being involved in college esports, and we're offering them a platform that not only gives them, a big event, a big yearly event, but also regular daily programming where they can have exposure in front of this audience that they want to build affinity for with their brand. So I'm super excited about seeing the brands get on board and help grow the space along with us. A rising tide lifts all boats. And I think that's probably one of our mottos here at CSMG and Esports U. We're growing our brand, but at the same time, we're also really growing the college esports space as a whole. And that's our goal, for it to be a healthy ecosystem for all parties involved.
Yeah, I agree there. And I guess for me, obviously always, seeing the collegiate esports space elevate, coming from competing, this didn't exist when I was competing, and just to see it now in literally within the last 5 years, probably really come to fruition and start just blossomed out of nowhere, and now becoming a space and seeing everyone, schools, players, productions, companies all elevate together has been really, really nice to see. But if I was the most excited for one thing, it would probably be the city where we're going to land for CC23. I'm really excited to know where we're going to be. There's a lot of great cities. I mean, I personally would love for it to come to New York, despite whether we got a positive bid or not. I want it to come to New York, but I just think the atmosphere in New York when you throw an event here is just super magical, especially in the summertime. But either way, I'm really excited to see where it lands. Tons of great cities, tons of great opportunities, and yeah, who knows? And I think that's going to be the most exciting process for me.
Absolutely. I won't speak to anything. I think I'm filling Paulie's job in this one because Paulie's more a panelist than this one. So, normally Paulie's the host, and I don't know. I think me personally, I'll just say something real quick. I'm just excited to keep telling your stories. If you're a student, if you're a program, let me know. Let us, reach out to us. We just ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to tell your story, and I think that's what has me most excited, because now I think we're getting to a point where people know us. I hope you guys trust us, and and we just want to keep expanding and growing the space. So with that, Paulie, I won't make you do the weird thing where you got to toss to yourself, unless you want to do that. I don't know. Actually, you might have a way of doing this. All right. Let's test it. Yeah. Okay.
Right,
how do you want to throw to yourself here?
Well, that's going to conclude here the future of collegiate with CSMG and Esports U. Thank you so much to Angela, Mike Blewett, and Kyler Tandle for hosting our panel. And now back to myself for the day 3 of the CSMG Coaches and Director Summit 2022.
https://twitter.com/Septilence. Don't put that in. I'll get in trouble. So that's worth it. Did I get too close to the camera on that one? A little bit too close. Should I back up a little bit? Okay, sorry about that. My bad. I've been awake for probably close to 32 hours. I have to hold my keyboard the normal way, because if I do it, I feel like I have arthritis if I hold my keyboard like that. It blows my mind. I can never do that. This guy right here, he's got his keyboard off at an angle. His isn't that extreme. There's a kid all the way down on the far end who has his keyboard all the way at a horizontal.
That's really cool.
They're going to be at that table right over there.
Public information?
Oh, I don't know. This isn't live, so it doesn't matter.
It's not live, but you and I know.
Yeah, we know.
I'm not going to tweet it.
Awesome. What game do you play?
Smash Bros.
Who do you play? Is it embarrassing? Is it like Villager?
Yeah.
Is it Villager? Am I spot on? Oh my god. Is it the Ice Climbers?
No.
Is it Game & Watch?
No.
Is it Pichu?
No.
Is it Wario?
No.
I can keep going. I think I can name every character in the game. Is it? Did I say the Ice Climbers already?
Yeah, you said them.
Is it them? Is it them a second time?
No.
Okay. All right. Is it one of the
We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise.
Oh, and it's gonna jumped into it. Corner judges go for 1, 2, dip. He needs more. They're doing even more here.
You gotta touch the point. Mr. College walks it in.
Toy Boy is gonna drop.
Knife him.
Right out in front.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Running.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back as we continue our march through the ECAC regular season. We are now in week 2. That means our teams have been primed up. They've had 1 week to get through all of the shenanigans and through all of the craziness here in Overwatch 2. My name is Sam Talks. Joining me, the ever amazing and awesome Chef Billy. And Billy, we got a great ringer of a matchup tonight. The University of Delaware going up against Ball State Black.
Well, you said we're in round number 2 here. Both teams have had their initial forays into this spring split, both of them coming out with a win. Now, Delaware has come in with 2 wins, and they're sitting atop the leaderboard right now here in Masters A Division. So, we're looking for Ball State. We want to see what they got coming out the gate here in their second look here. Season 3 has started as well. So, we got some things to be deciding here. Is Ramattra still going to be on everybody's team? Because now it does not. The ultimate that never ends. There is a duration to it. Mercy also getting... The community has not decided if it's good or if it's bad. The Mercy mains that have played her for a long time and knows the movement, knows how to play her the right way, they say it's actually a buff. Everybody else around my metal rank, well, they think that it's a nerf. So we're gonna, take a look and see what these two teams got coming out here, Sam. But somebody's going out with a loss today. It's gonna be the first loss on their record here, and we're gonna see, who's gonna take it. There's been some talk. Back and forth. We've got a star in our midst.
We do.
Starred in Hitman Agent 47. Just in the first minute, just a couple of scenes. But they were in there. Also, Grüße Nacht, wie geht's du der? Wir sagt es an Liebenstein. You would say it to them. That's some German because somebody speaks German. There's also a polyglot. Also, I'm a polyglot as well. I mean, I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm super happy. And now we get to have some Overwatch. Yes, I do speak German.
Well, listen, Billy, you convinced me. Okay, I was not a believer before this. I'm a believer now. So we got German Billy on air, on broadcast, clip it and ship it. There we go. All right, we got so many. I mean, the talk about season 3 though is really interesting because the teams haven't had any time to practice with it. It literally came out yesterday, and so they really at this point we're going to be kind of theory crafting what we're going to be doing here. Now we are about to get into the game, and our first map for the evening is going to be, of course, the fan favorite control map, Lijiang Tower.
Apparently, there's no other maps to start on in Overwatch 2. You always start on Lijiang. I'm also kind of ticked. I got to throw it out there before we get into the map. They took away my beloved Busan. They took away the Korean map in favor of bringing Havana back as well. That's one change I am not pleased with. But we are going to start here. I believe this is going to be on Gardens, if my looks are correct. We'll see here in just a second. Is it Gardens? He's going super slow. It's Control Center. Definitely looking for the brawl here, and we're seeing Ramattra versus Reinhardt. I like the Reinhardt into this matchup.
I do too. Reinhardt also got a little bit of a buff as well for themselves, and so maybe is going to be able to really bring the heat against this brawl type composition that we have. That Carter is currently playing on with the Ramattra, of course, being supported with Pin Park on the Junkrat is going to make just getting through the shields that little bit more easier, and applying that pressure just that little bit more easier as well. But for the moment, Ball State is the ones who are going to be sitting on top of the point, working their way up to capturing it, but Delaware does not want that to go through. Get rid of the immortality field and start making some of that damage, well, more permanent. Pin Park, you're going to see them try to rotate around, and we have the Reaper themselves, TVD man, looking for an opportunity, but for right now, both of our teams have stalled out. The point is going to be captured by Ball State, and the first kill is coming in from that Junkrat. Now the amplification matrix goes up, a lot more damage to go through, and this is Ball State in control.
Oh, good lord. Me98 just had a field day with that charge going in, the YOLO charge, getting full value out. I mean, look at the ultimates right now. Almost have a sound barrier ready to go. We just saw the matrix come out. Shatter is also ready, so lots of tools of initiation here for Ball State. Delaware now, oh my gosh, Penn Park just deletes TVD man, captain for Delaware. The Blue Hens 2-0 coming here once again. So they've got a lot of space here to be able to clear. I want to see them get, an initial pick, try to make their way through, but I mean, the microwave is set up right outside the choke.
And so what do? What is the decision there from Delaware? Don't even go through that choke. Don't have to deal with a microwave if you just walk around it. But of course, the photon barrier comes up, and that is going to cut off half of all of the arena for Delaware to be able to attack onto. And of course, TVD man, the first one to go down, and on Shatter! That catches literally everyone inside of it, Billy. And guess what happens when everyone's on the ground? They all die.
Oh, du bist bored, du bist tot, du bist blöd, du bist out jetzt. You're done, dusted, finished. That's what I just said in German. Tire is available. They haven't even had to use their sound barrier at 70% and climbing here. You got a 4-pack.
Okay.
Nice shot from Zuzo.
Saving the day there. And now for Delaware. You're going to pop the Annihilation. You're going to start walking in. But look at how low Carter is. You're actually going to force the sound barrier to be used from Steph in order to keep their tank alive. Ooh, you got a little bit scared there from Me98, but it seems like the Annihilation is going to be good enough on top of the Kitsune Rush and now inside of the overclock. Woo! Here's the thing, though, Billy. Every single ultimate except for Death Blossom used for the Delaware to get the point back at 92%.
I mean, you're looking at another App Matrix here for Zang Beast, the captain of Ball State. And I mean, you know, the tire, I probably would have saved it for the team fight. Instead of looking for kills as they approach the point, use it defensively. Clear space, make space for yourself. But Death Blossom, oh my god, once again, just burned down, missing a support.
All right, we're going to see if... Okay, so we're back and forth now. We've been getting some trades in here, and it looks like it's going to be Delaware sitting on top of the numbers advantage. The only ones left alive, Pin, Park, and Prime Axe, but Prime Axe gets the kill there. Pin Park putting a little damage forward.
I mean, Photon Barrier and Shatter into this next fight. Nothing close for Delaware. So this should be a pretty even fight here for Ball State. They should be able to take it just in the back of those two ultimates alone.
We'll see if it's going to be possible now that Me98 has the Earth Shatter in their hands, and it's going to be that much more easier with the loss of the Reaper. This Reinhardt can really start to go crazy, and they don't even need anything going on here. They don't need anything else, as the point has been flipped. A team kill happens. Ball State is going to take round one.
He wants that. He wants that spawn door touch there, but this is going to get it. But they do take the round 1-0 now in our sub-maps. Delaware needs to think about how they're going to control Me98 on this Reinhardt, Sam, because the Brawl, you can just walk into it. You can take the damage. When you go in Nemesis form, you can't block the hammer that's swinging. The slow ain't going to matter really too much to Me98 on the Reinhardt with the focused healing coming through. Looks like we got a little bit of a pause here in our lobby. We got a disconnect from the captain, TVD man. Has taken a little bit of a break here. So they're going to take a look there. TVD man, talking with him before we got into our match today. Carter, their main tank playing the Ramatra, thinks that he is a silly goose. Computer science major, freshman. We got a wide spectrum here. We've got one senior. That'll be Zunes, who was playing the Sojourn. Riceviz really likes rice. I couldn't have guessed that from the name.
You know what, Billy? What? I'm a big fan of rice myself too. So same. I share a lot of love for it. I share a lot of camaraderie with that statement.
I'm looking at Ball State, St. Beast being their captain. Where's the jersey number 69? Noise. It's required. We have to say noise whenever we see that number. And apparently everybody thinks that Zhang is hot. So we'll see. I mean, there's love in the air. Valentine's Day. It's only 6 days away. Get your support player a bouquet of roses. Maybe some chicken parm. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's coming up, man. It's coming. It's coming.
It is.
I'm telling you.
I gotta be on the ball with it. And I mean, of course, too, we saw the whole amazing roadmap for season 3 here in Overwatch. We're getting Loverwatch.
Loverwatch. Have you seen the Hanzo skin?
Oh gosh, Billy, I've seen that Hanzo skin.
My heart was a Twitter. I'm like,
of course, the smooch on top of that just adds that little extra.
Yeah.
Blizzard, just take my money.
I mean, you can't take my money fast enough. I mean, I'm throwing it down. Other good things that we found out today with the community update. Open Division is going to feed into a Pro-Am, and the winner of that Pro-Am is going to get a chance to go up against Owl teams if they make it there. Can you believe it?
That has to be like one of the greatest, actually one of the greatest ideas I think that Blizzard and the Overwatch League has done in quite some time, to be able to feed into exposing players, especially Open Division players who we know that they're very good at the game, to this pro scene level, right? Open Division, almost there, almost to that pro level. Then you get into continues, then you go right into Overwatch League. So to be able to have that option to be able to do this Pro-Am style sort of competition, love it. It is a genius move.
I think it's going to be awesome. We also found out that in lieu of the Chinese contenders, we're going to have the Asia Pacific contenders. So That's going to take place because of everything that happened with Blizzard and NetEase, that whole messy situation. There's still going to be a chance for Chinese teams to be able to compete in the region. So does that mean that they go out to play? Do they have to travel somewhere? I don't know what the logistics are behind this, but I mean, Chinese teams need to think about how they're going to be able to play in this next season. But we're still going to have contenders. So, I mean, we've got a very robust scene in Japan. Taiwan is a big hotspot. Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, all very good countries in their own rights. So we'll get a chance to see them coming up here. I believe that these programs are going to start on the 2nd of March. The open division, that's when that's going to start. So hopefully you're getting your name in there. I want to see you casting an open division.
Better believe
for
it.
sure.
You better believe it.
I mean, I still do open division. I love seeing, the beginning of it and moving through. But let's get back into talking about Delaware and Ball State. The supports really have to be sung here for Ball State, keeping their keeping their tank alive through just a barrage of damage coming their way. And I think that, with Big Rectangle Man being able to just hold corners and taking space and always keeping their line of sight on him, I mean, he really didn't suffer that much. I think he died once.
Yeah.
If I remember, once or twice in all of Control Center. So Reinhardt did get that little bit of a buff. And it really is showing, and, taking the Annihilation down and tuning that to where I believe it should be now. It's still going to be a super impactful ult. Please don't take anything away from that, but it's just not going to last literally for 60 seconds until everybody's dead. So we shall see what we see. I'm just wondering, because I was seeing nothing but like 5Ks coming out when somebody pressed Q. I mean, it's literally press Q and you win with the old Ramattra. So now we got the better work coming in.
So hopefully that with that coming into it, they'll be able to figure out, especially for Delaware, you're taking this a little bit of time. You have all this time available to you now because we were staring at Night Market. Now you get to talk a little bit about what was going on there. And for Reinhardt to be able to survive through what they did, especially because there was a Reaper on the enemy team. And a Reaper really does like to is the tank buster. And especially for tanks like Reinhardt, who gets a little bit skittish seeing that Reaper, to be able to survive through that and to be able to not only survive, but to thrive on top of that is unbelievable too. And we saw the massive earth shatters as well. You just can't sing the praises enough of what Ball State was able to do and how well they're able to hold on to that point. Basically just giving it up once. They had a little bit of trouble getting back onto it one time, but then once they were able to get there, once they had the ultimates, once they expended all of the ultimates from Delaware, really worked out well for them. I think that's something that Delaware may want to keep an eye on, is that ult usage. I know it was like 92%, right, Billy? So it was now or never, but you expended almost every single ultimate except for the Death Blossom. So that kind of really put you in a bad position once you got to that very final team fight where you had literally nothing in your pocket, nothing that you could use, nothing that could save the day. And so we saw exactly what happened there.
Yeah, getting an update about what happened. Somebody unplugged the captain's Wi-Fi. The roommate unplugged their internet.
That roommate.
Unlucky. That is get an F in chat for that. But they should be back soon. Now, Night Market presents its own little issues here, and I wonder if we're going to see the same DPS combo come out here, because Symmetra, we all know, works very well on Night Market. I think the DPS choices that came out from Delaware, while you did see a couple of good frags come out from the Sojourn, the Reaper was basically kept in check. Concussion mines are just a threat at any time. It's going to force the Wraith out. It's going to force the teleport out. So, I mean, and the Symmetra on the other side, constant damage. A constant, consistent auto-aim bot damage. So, the movement of a Sojourn is going to get slowed down by the turrets. I mean, we saw the right clicks coming out from the Symmetra as well. Very nice aim. I actually am a sim enjoyer, but we are back in game here. Now we've got the game on. We're all back in here, all nice and happy. Delaware coming out with a complete DPS and support line change.
I think that's going to be good for them. This might have the potential to really help them out a lot here, especially with the pharmacy combo. The only unfortunate thing for this pharmacy combo is now that Ball State has set themselves up in there. Zoons is going to take out Zangbeast, and so now Ball State down a healer, and you can see just what that's doing to Me98. On top of that, the anti-nade, so there's really no hope for Me98 at this point, and with the loss of their tank, with the loss of one of their healers, that's going to be pretty much it for them. Jump off the sides, reset here, and start again.
Yep, I mean, they had the right, I think they had the right answer here in bringing the soldier to deal with the pharmacy combo. The other problem is if you damage boost the Ashe, it's still 195 DPS per headshot with the aim down sight. So, I mean, we need to watch it out. We've got double hit scans now. We've also seen a swap in the support department. Moira Lucio, have not seen this combo in forever. Oh my word. And Me98 is going to have so much sustain right now.
And it looks like they had the exact idea. Delaware read that perfectly. TVD, man, especially, they use the teleporter, and then it's going to be an immediate concussion missile to send them off. And another one to send Pin Park off to the side. So now you are seeing Delaware in a really rough position. The point does flip. But I mean, really, Billy, at this point, with only 2 members left from Ball State, what are you going to do? How long are you going to be able to hold on to that?
Pin Park going back over to the Symmetra. There are people on the point right now. There was kills. Oh my god, face full of missiles.
Still holding.
For Cashless. Yeah, they're still holding it. They should be able to get back on the point too.
Okay, there we go. All right. Gave up 16% though, so not the most ideal situation, but at the very least, you send them back to the spawn room. You got it back under control, and now it's starting to tick back up for Delaware.
I mean, my friend, what I would like to see here from Ball State is bring out an Echo to get in the sky. Maybe me go over to the Diva to get some double air in the sky. What? Hello, Cash.
Erased. Immediately get rid of that far. You know that they've been hanging out there, so it's may as well try to put the pressure on there. But you're not keeping an eye on Steph, who's able to get the revive off. And now you're going to need to get back and put the pressure there. But unfortunately for Cashless, you're going to be caught out by Bob, who's now wrecking through the entire back line. And for Me98, where are you looking? You're looking all over the place, but it's just going to be death from above.
I mean, what a great bob there from Zunes, getting the work done with the Viper. And yeah, bye-bye. You're out of there, Carter. 61% and climbing now. Ultimate's coming up online here for Ball State. They should have about a 4 ultimate fight going in as they try to recontest this point. Big problem for them, Nano Barrage is going to be ready to go.
And that is going to be very, very deadly. I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to stop this push once more. It's going to be the teleporter again. Now we're going to try and see if Me98 is going to use that Earth Shatter to effective use, but unfortunately for them, it's just not going to be happening. Now you're going to have to deal with Carter inside of the Annihilation. The Photon Barrier might give you a little bit of breathing room, and TPD, man, fortunately gone. That's really not good, and they used the Rocket Barrage on top of that, so it seems like they may have gotten caught inside of the Photon Barrier, or did a lot of damage to them, but the rest of the team comes by, supports them while they're coming back up, gets rid of Pin Park, and now Steph, to keep the team alive, giving the damage boost to Farah. As we rotate back over to the point, Ball State did manage to flip it over into their favor, and Pin Park is actually switching off of the Symmetra onto the Cassidy. Now we're seeing this Coalescence putting in some work. Carter has been taken out. Unfortunately for Zangbi, so have they, and with both of the supports gone, Ball State has lost a lot of options there, and so any damage, it's gonna have to be, you're gonna have to rely on your soldier to get that off healing. But it seems like they don't need no stinking healers, Billy. They're gonna be just fine.
Okay, I see you, Ball State, 70% and climbing. Me just went absolutely ham on the Reinhardt there, the Fire Strike, eventually eliminating poor Steph on the Mercy, slipping over to the Lucio now. So you're gonna have speed to deal with this coming in. TVD man swapping to the Reaper, gonna try and bring it out again.
It seems like this is gonna be, rather than having to deal with all of this, another Earth Shatter from Me98. It feels like they just used it in the last fight. That's because they did, and Me98 is unbelievable. That is some insane Reinhardt. Oh, and a Fire Strike to close out the match. What a snipe. BSU taking the map of Lijon.
Oh my word, Boise, or I'm sorry, Ball State just went ham there. They made so many switches. They're just to try and counter the pharmacy combo. They finally just decided to ignore it and go after everybody else, and then they turn their attention to it. I mean, my God, here's this Shatter coming through, just absolutely lays them all out.
Ooh.
Wow.
Me98. That's beautiful. That is definitely clip worthy. Definitely play of the game worthy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see Reinhardt again. I love the tank. Love him so much. He's one of my mains whenever I'm tanking. And so to see Reinhardt in fashion like that, it set my heart aflutter.
I mean, I don't have my keychain with me, but I have a little mini Reinhardt on my keychain. That's how much I love the German Crusader. My favorite tank, other than the Battle Cattle, Orisa, is still the best tank of all time ever, in my own humble opinion. But I tell you what, that is a great opening salvo coming out from Ball State. They have a very clear identity, and they're able to swap consistently to what works for them. We saw, 3 different heroes come out from Penn, and I did not hate it. We saw the Mercy. I'm sorry. We saw the Symmetra. We saw the Cassidy, and we also saw in the opening round. No, that was the other DPS. So it's 2 different heroes there, but still showing the prowess with not only projectiles, but also with the hit scan. So I mean, getting full value out of both, definitely looking good for them. Their hero pools seem to be quite advanced here for somebody in a Masters division. Love to see the variety. Love to see the adaptability mid map to be able to change the dynamic, change the kind of sight lines, and force the other team into what they want them to do. They really set the tempo there at Lijiang Tower. So you know what? They are a third of the way to getting their dub, getting themselves to 2-0, and handing the Blue Hens their first loss of the season.
And for BSU, setting their sights on the next map, they want to continue that train rolling. And of course, for University of Delaware, it's time to get things into gear and prevent that from happening. And what better streets, what better way for this to be happening on the lovely map? Everyone knows it. We've all been here many, many times. Kings Row.
Oh man, Scrims Row, as it's better known, because everybody likes to scrim there. We're looking for more of the same. I'm looking for this Ramatra versus Reinhardt battle, and so far, Me98 is winning that hands down. Very aggressive. You see the supports really leaning into keeping their tank alive, and definitely, we saw maybe 1 YOLO charge there on Control Center. The other charges that we saw coming out from Me98 were very controlled, short-range pins, which really lends itself to 1, quick repositioning and space taking. 2, it takes out a player if you do happen to catch them. Hitboxes have been increased slightly for the charge coming in. So if you catch them anywhere inside the shoulders, it's going to be a pin. It's going to be almost certainly a kill unless you're taking the tank out. So we will be looking to see now what can Delaware do to stop Me98, because everything's running through him right now. And we need to see, do they have the idea? Do they have the wherewithal to change it up? As I say that, I mean, I'm not gonna go into what Ball State's showing me right now. Delaware, yeah, we see a swap here. Riceviz coming in now onto the tank roll. And is bringing a Reinhardt to bear. So we might get the classic Ryan v. Ryan here, Sam. And I am here for it.
I'm so excited. This is the great thing about the Ryan v. Ryan, right, Billy? Is the mind games. What do you do when you know that you've each built up to your Earth Shatter? It's a game of chicken. It's mind games. It's who has the nerves of steel to go for it. Waiting for the right moment, the timing. And that's always why I love the Ryan v. Ryan action. And so, of course, it's Me98 to lead the charge right over to the hotel. It's going to chill out in the lobby before taking up the high ground with the rest of their team. But unfortunately, without their tank, well, you're seeing what's exactly happening to Delaware.
I know what he's doing.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah,
they know. They understood the assignment. They brought a May into the fray as well. That shatter is that shield is not long for the world. Yeah, that's going to be a tactical reset. Get your May in there. Let's start playing the May game here. Let's play the wall game and see if you can get the full value out of it. I want to see Primax really use the speed to get them in on top of Rice. But right now, I mean, this forward positioning right now coming from Riceviz, absolutely perfect as they try to deny the progress coming in. What a shot from Zunes.
Zunes to open things up with a kill onto Primax is going to send them right back into the spawn room, and now it's time to send forward the Dynamite. Take out the second support with a clean headshot, but Me98 gets the charge on the step. Now it's rotating around, get themselves into a better position to lay down the law as this Ashe, or the outlaw, I should say, as this Ashe.
Well, I mean, very low right now. No supports online for them there. Now they're coming back. They've got the Kiriko ready to go with Rush as well, so that should be an early fight win.
The Outshatter did come out from Me98, but unfortunately no one caught inside of that. And it is just a killing squad. TVD man, 3 of their own. And a Bob to put in some work as well. Ball State running out of time, but still got 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, but they used two very impactful ultimates there. They used the Kitsune Rush and the Bob. So, I mean, they've got really nothing to defend. Coming up against this Blizzard from Penn Park, that's going to be their go button here.
We're going to have to make sure they keep an eye on it, make sure that they're not going to let that get away from them. Be very careful with how you're clumping up. TBD, man, does get their Death Blossom online, but Penn Park has the Blizzard primed and ready to go. Zang Beast now the Amplification Matrix on top of the Nano Visor. I'm sorry, the Attack Visor from Cashless is going to get everything done, and Ball State still gets to hold on to the Blizzard, as well as taking point A.
3 ultimates into that fight, though, Sam. So, I mean, now we're looking at Blizzard versus Sound Barrier and the Death Blossom. Yeah, this is going to be a strange fight. Cash was money. He just said, I'm out. Deuces, I'm out.
Tactical retreat from Cashless as they were hiding, gathering a little bit of information. Chilling out in the pub. It's all good for them, though. They managed to get away with their life and deal a little bit of damage, too, on top of that. We do have for Ball State the Earth Shatter now online, but the wall comes up. You're going to isolate Rice Viz. Able to walk around it just carefully, slightly, but now comes the Blizzard, and we're going to see what happens here. Oh, but it's almost completely countered. 2 down by the Death Blossom, but Ball State seems to be able to right the ship and still continue to make that payload move forward for now. No. The only one left alive is Cashless.
Oh, no, he's got his biotic field, but I mean, that should burn him down. Well, it missed. They missed with it? Hello? Okay, I guess he died before the dynamite was going to hit him. So, I mean, expensive fight there for Ball State. And they didn't come out with very much progress. Now, you're looking for any kind of progress here to be done by Delaware. I'm looking for double support ultimates to go out in this fight.
There it is, the first one of those support ultimates, the Kitsune Rush. Fortunately for TBD, man, they weren't feeling the power of the Fox as they do fall Penn Park. Regrouping and retreating with the rest of the team, respecting the ultimate from Sully. And on top of that, the sound barrier, so you've wasted those out now. Now you get to engage once more with the added benefit of not having to deal with a Reaper. The only thing that they're gonna have to be careful of now is filling in that hole of the loss of the Reaper is gonna be the Bob. It's going right into the back line. Thankfully, though, Cashless is going to be able to deal with that. Rice Viz built up with that Earth Shatter. It's going to be interesting from Delaware how they're going to... Oh, the wall! Beautiful, Billy!
Oh, my word. I mean, here we go. It's all coming out now. Attack Visor ready to go. Shield is going to be available. There, the shields are down.
All right, this could be an opportune moment. Not able to get the most out of that Attack Visor, but the barrier does come up. And now we're seeing an Earth Shatter. How it's supposed to be used by me, 98. Right on top of Zunes, bonks him in the head, and gets rid of their counterpart in Rice Viz. Now it's time to engage and get rid of this Reaper before they deal too much damage. But at the very least, this payload seems like it's going to be able to make it.
They make it. They get the charge. They miss the... Oh, my goodness. All the healing in the world needs to be going into Me98 right now because he's just getting lit up like a Christmas tree. Blizzard going to be coming out the gate next here. Pin coming in from Rice does capture the Reinhardt, so they're going to get a bit of progress and a chance to catch their breath just like us.
Ooh. All right, there we go. For the first time in a while, this payload has stopped. For the moment, at the very least, Ball State is going to regroup and reaffirm their decisions on how they want to go about this. They do have the Blizzard in their pocket, and that's a really good start to this. As Zunes falls to the Helix rockets of Cashless, now the payload is going to move forward once more.
I mean, it almost feels like old Overwatch 1. We've just got Reaper and Soldier and Reinhardt. Hello? I mean, this is old meta. This is old meta that we're seeing.
Bringing a smile onto my face. The other smile that I'm sure Delaware is having right now is the fact that they have this Kitsune right inside of the Death Blossom, catching 3 inside of it, and that 3 is going to be good. Oh my goodness, and now you're seeing a Reaper instead of a Kitsune Rush. Those shotguns, Billy, become assault rifles, basically.
I mean, Sam, they put a Blizzard in there, and they just said, nah, fam.
Yeah,
nah, we're done. We're just going to go ahead and walk past the area of that and kill you where you stand. Tac Visor v Tac Visor in this next fight. Shatter v Shatter as well.
Oh, this is going to be beautiful. Steph also very close to having that sound barrier online, so things start going sideways. They are going to have that in the pocket to keep Delaware alive, running, and good to go. Here comes the first hit. Oh, Me98, you're beautiful. That is unbelievable. Now Cashless on the high ground.
Oh my God!
Oh my goodness, Me98, but the sound barrier just at the last second from Steph was able to be popped Unfortunately for Zunes, it's not going to be good enough to survive through all of that damage. B98 comes out of the charge, but with the help of their rest of the team, the help of the supports, they should be able to survive through a dangerously low 69 HP is what I saw there before they were able to come back alive, well and good. And this is a team that knows exactly what they want to do. Primax is going to use the sound barrier once more from these Lucios. Have been doing so much into helping these teams stay alive. And Ball State, that is going to be good for them to be able to do that. Now it Kitsune rush from Sully. You got to do everything that you possibly can here. But unfortunately, the possibilities are not endless for Delaware. Ball State taking it all the way.
Oh my word, just the aggression was absolutely perfect there from Ball State. They weathered the shatter. What a smart little repositioning of the shield from Me98 there to block the shatter, and then they landed the fatty of their own. That's what you love to see. That's the Rhine mind games at their finest. Rice, you did an admirable job there. I mean, you landed some pretty fat shatters and fire strikes as well, but man, Me98 on a different level right now on the Reinhardt. I'm singing the praises right now because I play a lot of Reinhardt in my ranked matches, and now that he's getting into a much better place, I'm going to be pretty much one-tricking him. Not going to lie, and Me98 should be doing the same on the ladder. I really like the swaps that came through from Penn Park once again. Once they knew and they got rid of that last Blizzard and didn't see the value, they immediately went over to a Reaper to help chunk down not only the opposite in TVD Man, but also putting extra pressure on Rice Viz, and they just did not have the healing resources to stick up with it. And Me98 just WM1 into the other team, did not care, did not want your comments or questions, don't need to speak to your manager. I'm taking the space, you're not doing anything about it.
God, I just got a tear brought to my eye, though, from all of this Reinhardt play. It's the greatest thing ever. I'm also liking what I'm seeing from Pin Park, the Torbjorn pick here to bring out the turret, creating that space, and just, of course, another thing that Delaware is going to have to deal with as the doors open. And another little thing for them to worry about. Okay, so the Widowmaker is actually able to get rid of Pin Park's turret. And so now, distract them for a little bit, though. Earned a little bit of time.
Oh, what a shot. What?
No way.
No shot.
No way. I didn't know that one from Zunes. Okay, all right. Well, where Ball State had difficulties, Delaware, and on the back of Zunes landing some nasty shots. Well, oh my God, you kidding me, Billy? You're kidding me.
Why are you peeking? Why are you peeking? I mean, you should know that that's a tactical reset. They've already won the point. The first 2 kills, that's a third of your team down. You're done. The fight is done. 40% of the team's gone. You have to back out at that point and just take your losses. Take it as it is. I mean, me is in no man's land right now. Looking defensively, they're just getting so much free cart push right now, Sams. This is a scary situation here for Ball State. They're gonna have to be able to rotate around and take the fight to Delaware, and they do.
All right, they wanted to get rid of the pain point that has been that Widowmaker in their face so far. And unfortunately for Me98, a Reaper is gonna kind of put them on the back foot, and same Pin Park gets smashed into the wall by Rice Viz, but things are still going back and forth, and as the Fire Strike comes out from Rice Viz, Me98 charges right into it, right into their death. And so now Delaware, oh, it's just all free real estate. Oh, and a nice stagger.
Oh, Zune's now over to the Cassidy. By the way, in case everybody didn't know, it's no longer 30% of your ult charge when you go back to spawn and swap your character. It's now 25%. So 5% less is a little bit more of a penalty to swap before you hit your ultimate. But it's still, you know, you still have that 25% ready to go. Shatter be Shatter into this next fight.
All right.
Oh my God.
Okay, the shield from Rice Viz is going to completely negate what Me98 had in their black pocket. And Solely SW puts up the amplification matrix. At the very least, you're going to create a lot more space for your team to be able to work around with until Me98 inside of a nano boost is going to decide to press the W key, Billy. A very simple strategy, but an effective one.
Oh my God, he was trying to press Q there. You saw the animation get ready to start. Fortunately for them, it doesn't work.
What?
Hello! Oh my word! That is what you want to see. That is somebody taking the game into their own hands and saying, I am not going to lose.
No, they're not. Now they're taking out 3 there, so when the reinforcements come in from Delaware, in a much better position for them to be able to take this card back. A really good sleep, though, from Primax to put Rice Viz into the ground and prevent them from being able to use that Earthshatter that they have more than ready. But Me98 has already built themselves up to another one. We're going to see what Cash is going to be able to get outside of this attack by, and it's going to be literally nothing, Billy. Nothing whatsoever. Rice Viz in these Earthshatters. The script has been flipped where Me98 has such good ones. Okay, as I say that, though, as the words are coming out of my mouth, now we're going to have the Earthshatter Blizzard combo. Save of the day for Ball State.
Yeah, I mean, the sleep, the anti-everything. Just perfect. They're coming in from Delaware. They made their stand here.
Wait a minute, TVD?
TVD, doing it again. Just said no.
Unbelievable. What is coming out of this Reaper player from TVD, man? The captain of Delaware is indeed helming the ship and helming that payload to point B.
Oh man, I mean, taking high positioning here from TVD, man. I love this. Penn Park, man, I don't know how much work this May is going to get done here. We'll see. Deadeye ready to go from the Cassidy. Me is so low, needs the healing resources. There it comes through. They've also brought out their own Baptiste here, so now they're going to have an immortality barrier, at least to partially counter this upcoming Death Blossom.
All right, and you see that the wall was there to try and stop that. Deadeye comes up too, but it's going to be a simple, let's just rotate around. A lot of damage. You see Primax so dangerously low in the amount of health that they have left. Me98, that was a charge for sure, and it's going to be met by Ricevis, but the unfortunate one who's going to go down there is Me98. Now Zunes. Listen, Billy, I'm also Cassidy, man, and so to see this kind of level, this level of gameplay, my heart has been set aflutter. This could be a good opportunity, though, for Ball State to be able to turn things back around as you walled off Ricevis, and you managed to bring him down as well. But TVD, man, every time we look at this Reaper, they are death blossoming one after another. Is that a Bastion coming in from Cashless? Yes, it is. And TVD, man, is going to feel that right full pressure in the face.
They've got to touch. They've got to touch. That shield is very quick to crack in right now. Cash decided they're just done with this. It is going to bring out the Bastion here. So shields are not going to last very long. We get the echo from Penn Park now. So this is the fourth hero that we see out of this DPS flex. Man, the mind games are definitely afoot here in Kings Row.
This has just been incredible. The literal definition of what a battleground is right now, Billy, is unfolding before our very eyes here. The final few meterages of what Delaware needs to go to. Now it's going to be up to this Deadeye inside of that amplification matrix to be able to create that opening for Delaware, but it just hasn't been found yet. Zangbeast is going to use the sound barrier, but Ricevis caught inside of the Earth Shatter. Both of the Earth Shatters go out. Unfortunately for Me98, they're the one to fall by the hands of Steph. And it seems like finally Delaware is going to be able to take this payload all of the way as well with 2 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock.
I mean, the swaps were good, but just a little bit too late. And we finally saw Me98 not land a shatter. Got shattered out of their shatter. They both pressed Q milliseconds apart, and Rice was just that little bit quicker on the draw, and you saw everybody drop from that. And there was nothing to save them after that point. So, Delaware, definitely strong coming out here on their attack phase. Ball State have 1:09, so 69 seconds to be able to get done what they need to get done. You're looking for a tick. With how aggressive Me98 has been on this Reinhardt, I would not put it out of the realm of possibility for them to be able to get a shatter up in about 50 seconds. It's going to be tough. But I think that bringing out the May with it as well, being able to cordon, hopefully Ricevis off, and taking the tank out of the battle, I think is the way to go right now. And the fact that Zangbeast is on this Baptiste, they're also going to have that little security blanket as well.
I think so, too, on top of that. Ball State. It's just an impressive showing with what we've seen from them, but I'm so impressed with what Delaware has been able to do to turn things back on its head against Ball State, which seems so perfect, basically, on how they were executing their first round. But Delaware showed us what true perfection really is. And so now Ball State, instead of Me98 roaming right, charging into the hotel lobby, is electing to stick with the team, getting his maximum usage and building up towards that Earth Shatter as quick as they can. Already at 32% to Ricevis is 17, and now the wall is... Whoa, what? A pin? What? Hello? Onto TVD, man? Billy, I didn't even see that. It was like right there, right in front of our faces.
Right, it got caught right in the right on the side of the wall there, and now I mean they've got the rest of the team.
No, wait, Me98!
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh my gosh! What is this tank doing?
I'm in love. I mean, it's Valentine's week, so I mean I can say that. And the fact that Cash has brought out the Cassidy, Cassidy. That'll be the shatter. I mean, it's 50 seconds. I said. A little bit, not quite. Almost there. 90% to shatter in 50 seconds. Yeah, that's impressive.
My word. All right. Ball State is going to have a lot of work ahead of them here. They got to get through that. Oh, man, especially when you have TVD, man, in your back line doing that. destroying all of you here. It seems like they're going to be able to get the points for Ball State, but how far they're going to be able to take it? Basically, nowhere. Unless Me98 is able to turn things back around with that Earth Shatter. But I don't think... Wait, no, it was Rice Fizz.
No way,
Me98
no
still
way.
has their own. Is it going to be good enough, though? It might actually be good enough. The hero
is
coming
good
in at the
enough.
very last second. But now Zunes with the Deadeye, Rice Fizz to hold on to it, no one to touch overtime. Oh my goodness, right at the last second, it's gonna be Primax. They're gonna have to do everything that they possibly can in order to stay alive. That is a good usage of the sound barrier. You need to use that. If you go down, the round goes with you. Rice Fizz eliminated. I can't believe Ball State is still in this, Billy.
Ball State is not only in it, they've got ultimates to go on it as well. And Me98 now bringing out the Ramatra, so you're going to get that up close and personal punchy punch coming out in the Nemesis form, as well as the blocking, so you're going to have sustainability as well. We saw both support ultimates come out there from Ball State. You're looking now, Rice Fizz close to shatter. The big thing I'm looking for, TVD man dropping in.
All right, just get right in their faces. Cashless is going to use that Deadeye to zone and create some more space. Get around the nuisance that are these corners here in Kings Row. For Ball State, that is going to be very important. What's not good here, though, is the loss of Cashless, or anything even starts to go off. It's been traded out by the efforts of Primax, getting into the back line, taking them out. Now TVD, man, using that Death Blossom, and in a rare moment for them, not able to catch anybody out, but the damage was good enough. Now Rice Fizz inside of an Earth Shatter, the beat, everything being popped by Delaware to make sure that they're able to get Ball State off of it, and they do.
Good lord. I mean, that round should have been over twice. The cart should have never gotten out of the station there. And I mean, just last minute hero plays from all concerned for Ball State. That is probably farther than they ever expected to get. Now, let's talk about Delaware. They've got 2 minutes 35, so everybody's going to get a cycle of their ultimates. I always call it the 2-minute warning. When we look at these overtime situations, you don't have to throw yourself at the point. If you're Delaware right now, Sam, this is the good part for them. They have time to strategize. They have at least 3 chances, 3 really solid team fights here to be able to deal with what Delaware, with Ball State, are going to do defensively. Now, the problem is, have they learned their lesson in not peeking the Widowmaker? They have to be expecting it, because we saw Zunes pick 2 in the first fight, and then 1 in the retreat, and then we also saw poor Primax decide to show their face and get clicked between the dome there right around the bookstore as they were still capturing first points. So, you know, for Delaware, slow and easy wins the race. For Ball State, you've got to build time. You've got to get time to build up your ultimates, because it's only about 1.5 points there. So they're going to have, you know, I'm going to say 5 decent fights here to match the meterage that Ball State just put up.
See if they're going to be able to do it. And see if they're going to have that in their pocket. But it was like you said, Billy, they just need to take things slow. You don't really need to go fast. But for Delaware, they're not wasting any time to get right onto that point. It's going to be a rotation inside of the hotel room by Ball State. Rice Fizz to catch out Me98. And this is not what you want for Ball State. To lose your tank right off the bat before anything is really happening here. So now we're going to see how the rest of Ball State is going to be able to hold themselves. But Delaware, they already have the point.
They have the point, and I think they're going to be absolutely screwed here. Yeah, they're screwed, because, I mean, everybody's going to die. It's going to take time to get them back. Primax being killed the first there. So, I mean, you are going to have speed to get you back to the point. But forward positioning, nice aggression from them. They just got to get around the corner of the bookstore. 1:45 or 1:40 on the clock. So, I mean, not even a minute off the clock, and they're already moving this payload past the archway. I mean, they just absolutely shredded his shield, had nowhere to go, couldn't get the immortality barrier out, or they did, and it was just taken down too fast.
Now on top of this, for Ball State, you're really going to have to make sure you're watching your head, keeping an eye on Zunes. This Widowmaker has proven to be able to click some heads.
Oh my god.
Like that. Literally, it's done. That's it. Me98 with the loss of them. Really, what are you going to be able to do here? No ultimates?
It's done.
Yeah, stalling out for as long as they can. Delaware. Oh, that's so beautiful. So beautiful. That's definitely a way in Kings Row here, Billy. Delaware taking a map, their first map of this series, 1-1, tying things up.
I mean, maybe Control just isn't their map type, because that's a completely different Delaware team there. Also, the swap for Rice Fizz coming in on the tank definitely changed it up there. So, Zoom's definitely the MVP of this map. Got so much work done The work done on the Ashe, the work done on the Widowmaker, everything was definitely clicking for them. So now we have a tie series. Now it's going to be a 1-2 here for us, and we'll see how they're able to navigate this, because Ball State just got sat on their rear ends there and just had nowhere to go.
Yeah, it was almost like a complete 180 from what we saw on Lijiang Tower. Delaware came in, planted the flag, said Kings Row is ours. It looked like things were going really in Ball State's favor, taking that momentum that they had from Lijiang. But after that first round was over, and once Delaware really started to get going, I mean, the first initial picks that came from Zunes on the Widowmaker set things up. And from there on, it has just been a snowball effect that didn't stop for Delaware. And we saw some brilliance from Ball State, though, obviously, especially in that overtime, where they should not have been able to get away with that much, but they did. It was still really impressive, and we know what this team is capable of. So to go into our next map, I expect both of these teams to really be showing us what they're made of. Now that we're 1-1, we got a series on our hands.
The big thing that I'm worried about for Ball State right now is dealing with the Widowmaker. And as we go to Circuit Royale, we know that the Widowmaker reigns supreme there. You can only deploy a shield for so long. Are we going to see Sigmas come out here? Is it going to be a double sniper setup? Are we going to have the Hanzo with the Widowmaker? Or are we going to bring the Sojourn into bear? So those will be questions that have to be answered for us. But, I mean, the tank battle is intriguing. The DPS matchups is pretty even right now. I mean, Lijiang was really heavily favored towards Ball State. But as we saw the payload and progress and space taking show their face here, that's a different story. And really, Delaware showed their class. And Ball State, you know, to no diss to them, but I mean, they just got completely diffed out DPS wise. And I think me try to get a little bit too much work done on that Reinhardt rather than, you know, taking smart fights, especially in the overtime. Maybe got a little panic. Maybe got a little bit too much of the adrenaline going through the finger. So time for a little break. Time for a little breather. Get some hydration. Cool your nerves down and see what they got coming out the gate in map number 3.
Yeah, TVD, man, especially in Kings Row, the Reaper that they were able to use was just unbelievable. And Zunes switching back and forth between the Widowmaker over to the Cassidy, back to the Widowmaker, was also some insane gameplay coming out of both of those DPS for the side of Delaware. And so now, like you said, as we go, looking forward towards the future, setting our sights on Circuit Royale, the Sniper's Alley, right, where we're coming out across that first bin. Yep. Widowmaker is going to have a really good time there. And for Ball State, you gotta keep an eye on Zunes, because Zunes they just know the perfect timing and the opportunities of when they need to go after those shots.
I mean, TVD, man, also showed up big on the Reaper. I mean, we saw multi-frag Death Blossoms, and even without just the hit the Q button and win, really was getting it done with the Hellfire shotguns, getting in behind the shielding of me and just taking the backline out. So we saw that a couple of times. So really smart play from the DPS. I still like I like the DPS coming out for Ball State as well. I mean, Penn Park and Cashless have really been showing some good class.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll see if they're able to bring it through. I mean, Riceviz really turned the map around with the Reinhardt pick coming in for Carter in the tank role. We'll see. We'll see if there's a SWAT switch back. We'll see if they are able to switch back around. That's the only substitutes that they have coming in. So will we see Carter come in for Circuit Royale? Maybe they have the Sigma in their hero pool, unless Riceviz has it. So I mean, a lot of the Reinhardt players, a lot of us main tanks that came from Overwatch 1. Now I played Flex. I played all the tanks. So I never really had that problem. I could always, kind of look at map type and decide what I was going to do. If Riceviz has that in his back pocket, then we'll be seeing the Sigma come out here, because Sigma really does rule here. I mean, the be able to deploy and call back your shield, get that health back up, having the kinetic grasp, being able to eat damage coming in, giving yourself the over shield coming through. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the tank and the DPS right now. Both support squads are playing their asses off. There's no other way to put it. And now, Sunny Monaco, I mean, I want your opinion on this. I prefer it at night. I think the sunlight here is a little bit blinding at certain points, especially if you're looking up into the sky like
Oh,
that. And you're trying
observers.
to. Yeah, I'm Colton. Colton and crew are giving us the best here, and Cool Scoots. They're just giving us the best pictures. But when you're looking for that grapple hook, Widow going up in the sky, looking up into the sun, that's a tough shot because I know it's not real sun, but it still blinds you.
It's still bright. The sun always bright, no matter where it is, even inside of like you can see it right here. Yeah, I think as from a player perspective, from a gameplay perspective, the night is definitely better. Also, it just feels like, I don't know, Formula One race car. You got used to Circuit Royale at night. Now we're in the middle of the day. It just doesn't feel right as compared to some other maps. So like Watchpoint Gibraltar in the daytime, man, it fills me with happiness. Not filled with happiness, no. Pin Park, DVD Man on the other side, filled with much happiness being able to land a railgun headshot like that.
I mean, at this point, I would honestly be running a Mercy with your Widowmaker to have the res as well. I think that it's kind of called for. That way you can get body shots if you can't find the head. TVD Man didn't have a problem with that at all. The captain getting the first pick out the gate.
We know that Sojourn's been hit a little bit with the Nerf pad every now. Oh my gosh! Oh, no way! Zunes is unbelievable on this Widowmaker. Unbelievable.
All right, at this point, I would be.
Oh my gosh!
It's just Snipe City. At this point, I would be grabbing a Tracer and getting on top of them, or a Sombra, and hacking the shield of Rice, because that's what's required right now. I mean, Me is not able to take any kind of considerable space. They have this high ground absolutely covered. I like the switch for Cash coming over to this Hanzo. You're going to have vision. You're also going to have one-shot potential.
That's going to be really important if you want to get TVD Man and Zunes from being able to blast you away. Step on top of that. There we go. That gets rid of the Zenyatta, so now you don't have to deal with the extra damage coming in from the Discord Orb. Pin Park has a lot of pressure on them to be able to land some crisp headshots.
Oh!
And boy howdy, do they ever, Billy. The pressure does not get to this Widowmaker.
Nope. Excellent play. Excellent positioning. Those lines of sight were absolutely crispy. And you love to see it. You love to see it. So now, once again, Hanzo Diff right here. This is the preferred DPS lineup. Big Rock. Oh, dodge. That's what they needed.
That is exactly what they needed. All right, now Ball State getting so very close to that first point. Point A looking right there, and Pin Park is going to keep things wide open as the kill happens onto Zunes.
Oh.
But you can never count. You can never discount what Delaware is able to accomplish. They are actually making this work.
Well, I mean, you know, Hanzo for a Sojourn, it's your choice there at that point. I mean, this is going to be a stagger kill out, and it's going to take a minute for the slow Zenyatta to get back in there. Dueling Gravitic Flux, both equal on Transcendence, so I mean, you're looking at an overclock. That should be a good initiator for them, and here comes both of the, well, it'll be the Ball State walls coming up first.
See if this Infrasight is going to be able to help them out. At the very least, they know exactly where they want to be, and they want to get that Widowmaker out of here as soon as possible. Zunes now to pop their own Infrasight to get that information as to where exactly everybody is. You can think about this as well as that TV.
Oh my lord!
Sheesh. All right, the Gravitic Flux comes up, it comes out, and unfortunately for TVD Man, caught inside of it goes down. So now the loss of that overclock will be felt for Delaware until they can get back as quick as they can. However, Zunes for an opportunity, looking for a chance, looking for a moment to be able to make this work as the tanks are meeting each other in the field. Me 98 dangerously low. Same for Pin Park. And really all you need is a body shot from Zunes to put them in the ground.
That's just disgusting. And the big problem here for them now is how do they get around? What an angle. I love that from Rice. Rice is taking names here. They're
Simple
done.
geometry.
They're done. Just absolutely done. Yeah, here we go. Now Pin Park has brought out the Tracer. 10 seconds, so I mean, it's a necessity swap, but it's also a chance to get on top of this Widowmaker.
Oh, no way!
My God, no. You're done.
You're not supposed to be able to do that against a Tracer as a Widowmaker, not that easily.
Wait, what?
Now we're caught into overtime. TVD Man using that overclock. You catch out Steph inside of that Dragons, but that's all you're going to be getting for your efforts, Ball State. Delaware holding, not even giving Ball State that first checkpoint. Still, though, 93.86 meters. All the Delaware has to go on Circuit Royale.
I mean, at this point, you need the Mercy. You're going to need the Mercy here on your defense. I think this is an opportune time for Ball State to bring out said Swiss healer. We'll see. Because Delaware really diffed them out there. Great positioning, great possession of high ground, giving them optimal sight lines for not only Zunes on the Widow, but also TVD, man, showing up massive. I don't even care that their overclock really didn't get much out of it. They did more with just the charged rail shot than their ultimate. So, I mean, they're still using the dispersion field properly. They used sights when it was necessary. Penn Park showing us the echo here. I think they might be a little bit concerned here. Question mark?
Oh my gosh.
We've got a weird comp coming out from Ball State. They're looking to initiate on top. They're looking for opportunities to take space. And with this, well, the Reaper now and the Genji coming through, I mean, you're looking for Widow. I mean, you're looking for orbs to come out from Zang Beast. Looking for a DPS Moira here, obviously. And then Cash should be the initiator, getting the deflect, being able to dodge damage, and being able to reflect it back. Oh my god, you're going to go down. Me, that is not a good spot for you to be in, my friend.
Thankfully, they were able to get the healing, but literally the second anytime they step foot outside of safety, Billy, their health bar is being melted. They've been cleaved through. Only 100 HP to their name. Stuck inside of this room, and now you're going to have Sigma right in your face. You're going to try and position yourself to get rid of TBD, man. Really, anyone that you possibly can get. A freezing Yada right in front of your face is a possibility, but while this is all going on, look at what Delaware is doing to the rest of your team. Thankfully, though, Penn Park is able to make the trade-offs happen, but the spawn advantage, of course, is given to Delaware, so they're going to be back in fighting form real quick.
Penn Park does get initially eliminated by the Baptiste of all people. So, I mean, they've got plenty of push. 315. They've only got about half the distance to go now. They're going to have ultimates coming up very shortly. RiceViz in the lead towards Gravitic Flux. 70% and counting.
It's going to be tough for Ball State to continue to try and hold on to this, and they're not looking at too many ultimates either, whereas RiceViz is very close to getting that Gravitic Flux online, and that is going to create a lot of playing. That's it. You've taken out the Doomfist. Now on top of that, everyone else is starting to fall.
Wow.
That payload is basically already there. That is going to be another map for Delaware, increasing their lead 2-1.
I mean, that's just fantastic work out of them. They understood the win condition there, just getting the frags as they needed it, and I mean, that's what they wanted. They got what they wanted. They took it on their terms, and I mean, initial picks. I mean, that was just a weird comp that came out from Ball State. I'm not sure what they were trying to accomplish there, but it was definitely not what was required. I mean, just look at this. Last minute hold here. 138 on the clock, by the way, at this point. And that Amp Matrix absolutely cleans everybody out. So, now, match point here for the Blue Hens of the University of Delaware. Ball State just got put on their backs there. Now, we need to see the fight. We need to see the heart. We need to see the passion come back to this Ball State squad. I want to see the main tank energy come out. I mean, a lot of Reinhardt mains call it BDE out there, and we all know what that means, and we need to see that in spades right now. We need to see the leading from the front, and Me98 right now has got to really turn this around and give RiceViz a run for their money.
Indeed so. I mean, RiceViz was in control that entire map of Circuit Royale, never giving up a single inch that they needed to. They knew exactly when to use the Gravitic Flux. They knew exactly how they wanted to go about making sure that they are able to take space. And Me98 was just, they didn't really have an idea of how to handle RiceViz, who was just playing them like a fiddle. They understood the game. They understood the game of Overwatch, and they understood how to make Sigma work. And so now we set our sights on what could possibly be the final map of the evening, and that is going to be Coliseum, a push map. And we've had Coliseum now for quite some time, and I think we figured out how to really play around it. But still, though, these Season 3 changes could be throwing some chaos in the mix.
The big thing that I want to see here from well, I want to see Delaware try the Pharah again. I think Pharah actually works very well here initially in the long, what I call the drag strip, where the initial fight takes place and you grab control of Timothy Smythe the First. I think there is where it's going to be won or lost. I think the team that gets to 90 meters first is probably going to be the team that wins, because they can take fights at their own choosing. So I really want to see what they've got to bring to bear here. I mean, we saw, I believe it was Steph No, it was I think it was Zunes that came out on the Farah on Night Market in Lijiang. I want to see the Farah come back out here because you can get a lot of work done. You've got long sight lines. You can also bring out the Widowmaker here again. It's just going to depend on how they decide they want to how to play this. I mean, if you bring out a Farah and a Sniper, oh boy, scary.
A lot of pressure that's going to be put onto the opposing team. However, it seems like for Delaware, it's going to be going to a somewhat standard composition with the Ramatra. We've been seeing a lot of what Delaware is able to play. Sully on the Ana is going to make grand use of that anti-nade, and without a Kiriko that they have to worry about on the side of Ball State, Me98 is going to have to make sure they're playing very, very carefully to not get caught out by that too much and to not take too much damage that we've been seeing from them. Ball State in a little bit of rare form for them, maybe a little bit tepid, maybe a little bit nervous about what's been happening to them lately. Not as aggressive as we've seen them so far, and you're also going to make sure that you're respecting Zunes on this Widowmaker, which is something that I really do adore from Ball State, is understanding that we really do have to make sure that this Widowmaker is not going to blast our head off. The engagement has begun once more. It needs to reposition themselves, not able to find any heads though.
I mean, this is just good, smart aggression here coming out from Ball State. I mean, they've decided to take lines of sight that are favorable to them, but the fact that they've already had to use the Immortality Barrier, that's a big issue.
That is indeed, and so now anything that's going to be happening is going to do a lot of damage. That's going to be big as well. TVD man goes down, and it's going to be RiceFist needs the nano boost in order to stay alive. They're very close to their annihilation, but not close enough. Instead of this Nemesis Swarm, they're throwing hands, but the only thing they're going to be thrown back into, Billy, is the spawn.
Oh man, and the chase. The chase is good. The chase is good. Oh yeah, there we go. Helix Rocket lands. This is going to be great progress now coming through for Ball State. They should be able to get to about the 40 meter mark, unless Zunes decides to get in there close and make a contest. But I mean, so far, we're looking for Pen Park. Pen Park right now needs to get up in this Widowmaker's face and deal with the pressure from the Widow standing on high.
I'm adoring this though from Ball State. Don't give anything to the Widowmaker. Now we're gonna have the Earth Shatter. It looks like it only caught RiceViz inside of this, but now Primax's beat is gonna keep everyone alive, healthy. RiceViz to use the Annihilation, but at this point, you're really gonna have to make sure that you're gonna get a lot out of it with how low they are. It doesn't seem like maybe they are gonna be able to get much. They are getting the healing to come in for them and holding as best they can, but the hold falters. And Ball State pushes forward.
I tell you what, Sam, the reason why that works so well is that you had the flank, you had the pincer movement coming in from Pen Park, taking perfect positioning on top of the bridge and not allowing them to have that space. They claimed it as their own, and now, you know, they've got free push. They're closing in on 50 meters here. Remember, it's about 62 meters to get to the butt scratch moment. And Zoom moving over to the Ash. This is a great change.
Okay, but now Pin Park inside of this overclock. Well, it was inside of that overclock. Now it's overdone. Oh my gosh, Zunes! No way. Zunes, no way you're gonna be doing that kind of stuff.
Yes, they are. Yes, he is. He has decided that we're going to change the tenor of the conversation here. We're going to get a little bit more utility into these fights. The Dynamite is doing so much work. Just swapped over to the Ash, already 60% to Bob.
That is unbelievable. And now RiceViz with the adjustment over onto the Reinhardt as well. So now we got the Reinhardt v. Reinhardt that we saw on King's Row brought to the forefront once more between both of these tanks. It's going to be TVD man using that overclock. Maybe be able to get a couple of headshots off here and there. And it is, oh my gosh, it's just an annihilation put into the form of a Sojourn. That is insane.
I mean, Shatter is going to be ready here for RiceViz. That's going to be the initiator, especially while Mia is trying to get back onto the point. But I mean, they might actually answer this meterage gained by Ball State, and now the App Matrix out.
All right, Me98, you're gonna take so much damage now.
I think everyone knows that. I think everyone's aware of that.
Hey, do you have a VIP access badge on?
I actually have an all access.
Oh, an all access. I thought it said VIP access.
And that's only available for the best.
That's true. He's right. That's a main stage TO right there.
If this goes live, I'm suing everybody.
It's all right. A video of me, the first clip is me saying, don't put that in. And then it was the first, cut the cameras. Oh, you're recording already? Great. So this is this is Bay State versus UCF. I believe something that we saw yesterday on day one of the tournament. tournament, but instead we're going to have that run back here. I think they're fighting for a spot in Grand Finals. Anarchy, one of the best Greninja players in the United States, currently struggling against a Terry. Terry notorious for that DLC privilege, being a very strong character with some very strong abilities. Greninja, not so much, considered one of the weaker characters in the game. A Falco player, one of the best in the United States, and he just got spiked by a Terry. Same Terry that took out Anarchy literally minutes ago. UCF still up by 2 stocks. This guy is looking to rip this team apart single-handedly. That is, I mean, nuts, to say the very least. Absolutely absurd. That was a disgusting spike. I cannot believe that happened. Will you hold the microphone so I can sign this? Sorry.
For context, he's got a fan. He's actually signing something. He's so excited.
What was it like to not hear my voice for 2 minutes? For 30 seconds, maybe. What was it like? Probably bliss. I was signing a mouse pad, which is really cool. I've never done that before. Nobody's ever asked me for a signature, so I'm going to start blushing, but I'm really excited about that. And then he wants a picture. Can you take a picture of us? I said, is it bad? She went, no. I'm going to go ahead and take that as a yes.
Turns out I can't tie a tie sitting down.
What do you think is the appropriate face-to-screen ratio for a Valorant player?
Face to screen, like how close I sit?
Yeah, like how close should a player sit?
Personally, I play really, really close. I think it depends on your eyesight, but for me, I like playing close because it helps me focus on my crosshair.
Is the value of sitting close, the crosshair being the only thing in your line of sight?
Yeah, that's pretty much the main benefit of it.
It's so funny how close some of these guys sit. Oh my goodness. What do you think is the healthy face-to-screen distance